What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 2MP. Chapter 26. Heart-to-Heart Communication, 1/10. Advertise here. Chapter 26. Communicating Mind, 1/10. Qian Ye felt that the current power was enough, but Kuretsuchi Mayuri was not satisfied. As a qualified mad scientist, one should not surpass oneself, but should be on the way to surpass oneself. The reason Kuretsuchi Mayuri hates perfection is because perfection means that it cannot be improved. And Kuretsuchi Mayuri believes that only continuous improvement is the most beautiful. Qian Ye said. Then I wish Captain Ni early success in improvement. Kuretsuchi Mayuri smiled and said, this still requires you to continue to provide spiritual support. Qian Ye also smiled. No problem. Every time he provides spiritual power, he can get event rewards, why not do it? 2 months later, Kuretsuchi Mayuri really completed the improvement of this spiritual power item. The spiritual power explosion triggered during the test has the power to hurt Shinigami of the deputy captain level. Qian Ye was dumbfounded on the spot, and one of them possessed such power. What about 10? How about 100? Aizen is strong. Faced with thousands of psychic bombs, even if it can't hurt him, the picture must be very beautiful. Kuretsuchi Mayuri transformed the appearance of the spiritual power prop into the look of a pull-string grenade described by Qian Ye. At the same time, the psychic power item uses the name provided by Qian Ye's psychic bomb. You assisted Kuretsuchi Mayuri to complete the improvement of spiritual power props and received a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power Plus 100. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye, the development of the spiritual power bomb is now complete, but you still need to continue to provide me with spiritual power. Making a psychic bomb requires psychic power, and it requires more psychic power than before. I don't know how many psychic bombs Captain Nirvana can make in a month. Qian Ye asked the question he cared about, which was related to how many spiritual bombs Qian Ye could allocate in the next month. Kuretsuchi Mayuri thought for a while and said, if you provide me with spiritual power every 7 days, I can make 20 spiritual power bombs a month, and I can give you 5 spiritual power bombs every month. If it is to provide spiritual power every 3 days, I can make 50, and I will give you 20 each month. After Kuretsuchi Mayuri looked at Qian Ye, he respected Qian Ye's decision. Then once every 3 days. Ha ha ha, you are crazy too, it suits my appetite. ... Unconsciously, it has been 1 year since Qian Ye joined the Mao Spiritual Academy. Qian Ye's spiritual power has been upgraded to the super captain level, and the templates he possesses have all been upgraded to S level. Qian Ye's roommate still goes to the various courses arranged by the college from 9 to 5, unless an event is triggered, otherwise Qian Ye will not go to class. At this moment Qian Ye was sitting cross-legged in the dormitory, doing sword meditation. Qian Ye's zanpakuto space. The empty space, which was originally only with blue sky, white clouds and grass, has become a paradise of mountains and waters, birds and flowers. A woman with very classical beauty is dancing in the water stream. On the shore, Qian Ye is doing heart meditation. Heart Zen is Qian Ye's reward for the first sword Zen, and it can only be done in the state of sword Zen. In the beginning, mind meditation can only be used to communicate with Zanpakuto's body. Slowly, heart meditation became Qian Ye's alternative cultivation method. In the state of mind Zen, Qian Ye experiences shikai, temporarily borrowing the power of Zanpakuto. Qian Ye's Zanpakuto ability is creation, which is a vague concept for Qian Ye. The super captain level of spiritual power is already a leader among the Shinigami, but for creation, this spiritual power is far from enough. Now, the creative power Qian Ye can master is limited to his own Zanpakuto form. The woman dancing in the stream seems to be tired of playing. She came to Qian Ye and sat down cross-legged, and also entered the state of mind meditation. At that time, the two will have the same heart. The woman enters Qian Ye's mind meditation space. This is not the first time she has done this. Qian Ye smiled when she saw the woman coming. Shall we start? The woman beckoned to Qian Ye. Come here. A pair of wings grow on Qian Ye's back, which are generated by Qian Ye's spiritual power and can be used to fly. Of course, to maintain the spirit wings, Qian Ye needs to consume a lot of spiritual power. Qian Ye made a move, and he added a handful of Wuming Zanpakuto generated by spiritual power in his hand. The Zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hands is no longer the original sealed state, but a long sword similar to the East. Compared with the sealed state style, Qian Ye prefers this kind of oriental sword. Swift. Qian Ye held Zanpakuto and attacked in front of the woman in an instant. The woman didn't panic at all. With a move, a spiritual barrier was formed in front of her, blocking Qian Ye's attack. At the same time, there was a long sword in the woman's hand, and the sword body of the long sword became longer suddenly, and the tip of the sword pointed directly at Qian Ye's ki. Qian Ye and Shunpo avoided. Before landing, a vine suddenly appeared under his feet. Lingman followed Qian Ye's feet up, and kept entwining Qian Ye. The woman's hand pointed with a sword, and she swung it down at Qian Ye. Suddenly a huge spirit sword appeared on Qian Ye's head, and it fell towards Qian Ye with an unrivaled aura. As Qian Ye was hit by the giant sword, Qian Ye retreated from the mental meditation space, breathing continuously. The woman giggled as Qian Ye looked embarrassed. Mao, I want to report, you are purely open. Qian Ye was extremely wronged. Obviously he and the woman in front of him used his spiritual power. Women can use spiritual power to make various attacks at will. Qian Ye can only change the form of zanpakuto in addition to being able to grow spiritual wings behind him. Where is this? If you have enough spiritual power, I can create any kind of attack. The woman sighed and continued. Unfortunately, your spiritual power is really too little. Qian Ye almost vomited blood. His spiritual power is still low. His current spiritual power is super captain level. You tell me, when will I be able to be like you? The woman tilted her head and thought, wait when you liberate my real name. Asterisk. Chapter 27. Expectation and Disappointment 2/10. Advertise here. Chapter 27. Expectation and Disappointment 2/10. Qian Ye replied. Okay. I will try my best to improve my spiritual power. Qian Ye is quite satisfied with his zanpakuto's abilities. Qian Ye's zanpakuto, unlike the captain's Ryujin Jaka, possesses super-powered attributes. Unlike Kurosaki Ichigo's Zangetsu, it can improve all aspects of attribute power during battle. It's not like Kyoka Suigetsu of Aizen Sōsuke, who has the bug of complete hypnosis. Qian Ye's zanpakuto's ability is actually Qian Ye's use of his own spiritual power. The stronger Qian Ye's spiritual power, the stronger his zanpakuto. If Qian Ye can have unlimited spiritual power, Qian Ye can do it even if it is a breakthrough. In other words, Qian Ye's zanpakuto has unlimited possibilities and no upper limit. Qian Ye retreated from the state of Sword Zen. You practiced under the guidance of zanpakuto, and you get the event reward. Spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Ever since Qian Ye discovered this event that could be triggered in a fixed manner, Qian Ye would enter the Sword Zen state to brush his spiritual power every day. In a year's time, although Qian Ye still hasn't completed shikai, his strength has greatly improved. Qian Ye checked his current strength. Spiritual power. Super Captain level. Spiritual power control template. S. Reiatsu template. S. Zanpakuto template. S. White hits template. S. Shunpo template. S. Hito 1 to 90 template. S. Yes, after a year of improvement. Qian Ye has upgraded all template levels to S level by using template upgrade cards and through his own practice. Qian Ye found that these templates can continue to be improved after they are upgraded to the S level representing the ultimate. The levels above S are SS and SSS. SS stands for above the extreme, below the limit. SSS stands for breaking the limit, similar to Kurosaki Ichigo, which combines Zangetsu and arms, and Aizen, which combines Hōgyoku. After the template level reaches S, you can no longer improve through self-practice, but you need a super template upgrade card. The 4th division. After Unohana Retsu finished today's work, she was standing by the window to rest, and suddenly she thought of someone. I don't know what happened to Qian Ye. It's been a year, and I haven't received the news that Qian Ye applied for graduation in advance. After all, he still failed to surpass Ichimaru Jin. Over the past year, Unohana Retsu is naturally busy with her work. Even if she is optimistic about Qian Ye, she cannot always stare at Qian Ye who is still studying at the Mao Spiritual Academy. If Qian Ye joins the 4th division, she can watch every day. After Unohana Retsu separated from Qian Ye last time, she never saw Qian Ye again. Qian Ye, work hard. Graduating from the Mao Spiritual Academy early, I still remember that you promised me that you will join my 4th division after graduation. The Kuchiki family mansion. Room of Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya Kuchiki and Rukia Kuchiki sat face to face and drank tea. Because Rukia Kuchiki often reports Qian Ye to Byakuya Kuchiki, the relationship between the two has greatly improved. At the beginning, when Rukia Kuchiki reported the situation, he stood restrained, and now he can sit and drink tea together. Byakuya Kuchiki was satisfied with this change, and felt a little grateful for Qian Ye's birth. Byakuya Kuchiki is grateful to you and will receive a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 50. Close black lens bracket. Therefore, Qian Ye who received the prompt was stunned. Although I don't want to admit it, Qian Ye's Keto accomplishments have indeed surpassed me. Moreover, Qian Ye's other skills have surpassed the teacher coaching him now, even the Kaian Deputy Captain of the Year could not do this. Rukia Kuchiki's look was a bit lonely. The name Shiba Kaian has always been a hurdle in Rukia Kuchiki's heart. Byakuya Kuchiki asked. Since he is so good now, why not apply for early graduation? Rukia Kuchiki replied, because he has not yet liberated Zanpakuto's real name. Byakuya Kuchiki nodded in understanding. The Mao Spiritual Academy has regulations that students can apply for early graduation if their grades are good enough. However, if you want to apply for early graduation, in addition to excellent results in each course, you also need to meet a condition. That is the real name of Liberation Zanpakuto Shikai. Byakuya Kuchiki asked again. It's been a year, you promised to help me, how is it going? Rukia Kuchiki said. I have a good relationship with him. I plan to talk to him after he finishes shikai. That's too late, you can be honest with him as soon as possible. Byakuya Kuchiki thought for a while and continued. By the way, you tell him for me, if he is willing to join the 6th division, I can help him make a special application. The outskirts of Seraiti, Madarame Makaku is giving secret guidance to Abarai Renji. In fact, Madarame Makaku has already learned Bankai, and now his guidance to Abarai Renji is Bankai. When Abarai Renji was in contact, Madarame Makaku seemed a little boring on the side. Really, I thought Qian Ye could finish Shikai right away. It's been a year, and he hasn't moved yet. Since Madarame Makaku fought Qian Ye last time, he has been looking forward to a real battle with Qian Ye, who has completed Shikai after guiding Qian Ye with no effort at all. Abarai Renji said. Teacher Yizhao, in fact, you don't have to mind so much. Even if Qian Ye really didn't use all his strength to fight seriously, isn't it the same for you, Teacher Yizhao? Madarame Makaku knows that Abarai Renji refers to Bankai. I don't know how to use Bankai as a last resort. Abarai Renji disagrees. When Madarame Makaku and Qian Ye fought last time, didn't they also say not to use Shikai at the beginning? Thinking of this, Abarai Renji unexpectedly began to look forward to the next battle between Qian Ye and Madarame Makaku. Qian Ye, can you force Madarame Makaku to use Bankai? Asterisk. Chapter 28. Is your Zanpakuto fierce? 3/10. Advertise here. Chapter 28. Is your Zanpakuto very fierce? 3/10. Mao Spiritual Academy. Ichimaru Jin stared at Qian Ye with a smile. Qian Ye, your performance this year is very good, you really are a smart boy, understand what I said to you. Qian Ye said. Captain Ichimaru Jin, you have misunderstood. Actually, I really can't finish Shikai. Ichimaru Jin was a little surprised. Oh. I heard your teacher say that when you first got the sealed state, you resonated with Qian Ye, and then you successfully entered the Sword Zen state. Qian Ye nodded in embarrassment. In fact, he did not resonate with Zanpakuto at the time. After entering the Zanpakuto space, he completed the connection with Zanpakuto's mind in the state of mind meditation. In a year's time, with your talent, you should have been able to Shikai already. Qian Ye said. My Zanpakuto feels that my current strength is not enough, so she would not tell me her real name anyway. Ichimaru Jin said. After Shinigami entered the Zanpakuto space, before he liberated his real name, Zanpakuto believed that he was the leader and refused to surrender, and recognized Shinigami as the master. Qian Ye nodded and listened carefully to the experience taught by Ichimaru Jin. So you need to conquer Zanpakuto. Of course, I mean using your strength. As long as you defeat your Zanpakuto with strength, he will surrender and tell you your real name. Qian Ye shook his head and said, I've tried it many times, but this method won't work. Ichimaru Jin has doubts on his face. Your Zanpakuto is so special. I won't tell your real name even if I was defeated by you. After Ichimaru Jin finished speaking, he picked up his teacup and drank tea. Qian Ye embarrassed. No, I can't beat my Zanpakuto. I have played against her hundreds of times. Now I can hold on to 3 moves. Puff. The tea in Ichimaru Jin's mouth spurted out, but Qian Ye reacted quickly to avoid being sprayed. You said you can't beat your Zanpakuto. Qian Ye nodded. Yes, she is too strong. Ichimaru Jin is speechless. Unlike Unohana Retsu and others, Ichimaru Jin has been following Qian Ye personally since this year. He knew that, apart from failing to complete Shikai, Qian Ye's 4 skills of cutting fist and walking ghosts had even surpassed the general captain level. Regarding the current strength, even the general captain, without using Bankai, Qian Ye has the power to fight. Such a strong Qian Ye can't beat his own Zanpakuto, and can't even survive 3 moves. Qian Ye, is your Zanpakuto body particularly fierce? In Ichimaru Jin, I think that Qian Ye's Zanpakuto body must be a fierce behemoth, a very powerful one. Qian Ye said. Yes. She has always looked down on my spiritual power, saying that my spiritual power is too little. Puff. Ichimaru Jin squirted out again. Qian Ye's spiritual power has reached the level of super captain. I really look forward to seeing what your Zanpakuto Shikai looks like. Ichimaru Jin paused. Of course, you try to Shikai as soon as you graduate. If you are Shikai ahead of time, you must not show it in front of anyone. Does it include you? Thinking of Aizen Zanpakuto's ability, Ichimaru Jin nodded firmly. Including me. Ichimaru Jin looked for Qian Ye in the morning 2 days later. Rukia Kuchiki came to Qian Ye dormitory. After Qian Ye's roommates were glared by Rukia Kuchiki, they left the dormitory wittily. Ms. Rukia, what are you? Rukia Kuchiki said. Qian Ye, your performance in the Mao Spiritual Academy this year is very good. Qian Ye is very speechless. This is Mandarin. Is it? Ms. Rukia, are you verbally commending me on behalf of the college? Rukia Kuchiki said. No, I'm here on my own behalf. Qian Ye was a little disappointed to see that he could not trigger the rewards. You can still trigger the rewards just like on behalf of the academy. Thank you Mr. Rukia for your approval, I will work harder. Rukia Kuchiki hesitated for a while before continuing to ask, have you liberated Zanpakuto's real name? Qian Ye shook his head. Rukia Kuchiki asked again, is it fast? Qian Ye shook his head again. How long will it take? Qian Ye said. At least 5 years. So long. Rukia Kuchiki was surprised. You have such an excellent talent for the 4 skills of cutting fist and moving ghosts. How can it take so long to liberate the real name of zanpakuto? Have you not communicated with sealed state properly? Qian Ye said. I have worked very hard, maybe I am inferior in this respect, after all, no one is perfect. Rukia Kuchiki said. This is the 11th Division Madarame Makaku, his Kido is a mess. Madarame Makaku, who was lying on the gun for no reason, sneezed. Then, Qian Ye and Rukia Kuchiki fell into embarrassment. Qian Ye saw Rukia Kuchiki sitting still without talking, and said. Ms. Rukia, thank you for your concern, I will definitely work hard. Meaning, Mr. Rukia, since you are so embarrassed here, then you should go. After being ordered by Qian Ye, Rukia Kuchiki asked. Qian Ye, do you have any team you want to join after graduating from the Mao Spiritual Academy? Qian Ye nodded. Rukia Kuchiki finally got to the point and said, have you considered the 6th division? Chapter 29. Qian Ye, now, call my real name, 4/10. Advertise here. Chapter 29. Qian Ye, now, call my real name, 4/10. Rukia Kuchiki would invite herself to the 6th division team. If Rukia Kuchiki came forward, Qian Ye thought she would invite him to the 13th division. Is the relationship between Rukia Kuchiki and Byakuya Kuchiki different than Qian Ye imagined? Qian Ye, the Shinigami in the 6th division are all the nobles of Seraiti. I am a commoner from Rukongai, so I did not consider the 6th division. Rukia Kuchiki, you can think about it. Qian Ye, this, isn't it good? Okay. Rukia Kuchiki thought this answer was awkward. He used his whole cards and said, if you are willing to choose the 6th division, the 6th division captain Byakuya Kuchiki can help you make a special application. Special application. What is that? According to the regulations, students of the Mao Spiritual Academy who want to graduate early must complete shikai before they can apply. However, my brother is willing to make a special application for you, that is, if you complete shikai, you can also apply for early graduation. Rukia Kuchiki paused and continued. At that time, the captain of the 13th division will personally assess you. As long as you pass the captain's assessment, you can graduate early. With your 4 skills, I believe you will pass the assessment. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Rukia Kuchiki. Close black lens bracket. You can get rewards for agreeing and refusing. Close black lens bracket. Can I get rewards for both promises and rejections? That is naturally. Thank you for my kindness, Captain Kuchiki, I already have the intention of joining the team in my heart. This promise has always been valid, so consider it carefully. You declined Rukia Kuchiki, and you get an event reward. Spiritual power plus 3-0. Close black lens bracket. After Rukia Kuchiki left, he told Qian Ye's answer to Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya Kuchiki said, do you have an intentional team? Zaraki Kenpachi, I don't see how you can do it. Help me continue to pay attention to Qian Ye, as long as he has not officially joined the 11th squad, I will not give up. Rukia Kuchiki said. Qian Ye, is it really that important? This is Rukia Kuchiki, the first time I saw Byakuya Kuchiki take a person so seriously. As the righteous sister of Byakuya Kuchiki has never done this to her. Byakuya Kuchiki didn't answer. Rukia Kuchiki, whose image is so high and cold, is angry with Zaraki Kenpachi, how can he say it in front of his sister? Time flies. It has been 3 years since Qian Ye left Rukongai North 80 district and joined the Mao Spiritual Academy. Qian Ye's spiritual power finally reached the level of the leader of the team, Yamamoto Genryujai, and he met the conditions for completing shikai. Your spiritual power surpasses the super captain level, meets shikai's requirements, and gets rewards for hidden events. Super template promotion card X1. Close black lens bracket. The conditions are finally met. Qian Ye, who had worked hard for 3 years, was very excited. Qian Ye didn't know what unexpected situation would happen when he finished shikai. So I decided to leave the Mao Spiritual Academy and find a safe place to do it. I remember Yoruichi has a secret base, so let's go there. 3 days later, according to the clues in his memory, Qian Ye finally found Yoruichi's secret base underground. Not bad. It's here. Qian Ye sits cross-legged, placing the sealed state horizontally on both knees. Hold the tail of the scabbard with one hand and the knife shank with the other. Then close your eyes and meditate. Qian Ye, who has performed sword meditation for an unknown number of times, naturally synchronized his mind with the sealed state and successfully entered the zanpakuto space. As soon as Qian Ye entered the zanpakuto space, a lazy voice rang in his ear. You finally came. The woman Qian Ye zanpakuto turned into, wearing a Chinese cheongsam, was standing in front of Qian Ye. The woman's eyes changed from the laziness before, and a few sparks of excitement flashed. Awaited. Qian Ye replied. Then let's start. Qian Ye nodded, and sat cross-legged face to face with the woman. Look at each other's nose and heart. Heart to heart. Qian Ye enters the mind meditation space with the woman. Unlike the past, Qian Ye's zanpakuto did not appear as a woman, but floated in front of Qian Ye in a zanpakuto state. A voice sounded in Qian Ye's heart. Hold me. The moment Qian Ye held zanpakuto in front of him, he felt a palpitating feeling. He knew that this was the resonance between him and zanpakuto in his hand. Now, close your eyes and imagine in your mind what I was like you saw before. Qian Ye did it. When the image of Zanpakuto's woman was formed in Qian Ye's mind, the woman in Qian Ye's mind opened his mouth and said, "The birth of things is for the spirit. The origin of the spirit is the mind. What the heart thinks is for creation. My real name is for the king. Qian Ye, now, call my real name." After listening to the woman, Qian Ye understood. Qian Ye Zanpakuto's ability is to create, which is actually Qian Ye's use of his own spiritual power. In other words, Qian Ye Zanpakuto's ability is Qian Ye's own power. Therefore, Qian Ye Zanpakuto itself has no name. After Qian Ye gave her a name, that was her real name. Asterisk. Chapter 30. Now Mihime, 5/10. Advertise here. Chapter 30. Now Mihime, 5/10. Now Mihime. Qian Ye opened his eyes after calling out the name. He found that the zanpakuto in his hand had changed. From the blade to the tip of the blade, the whole body became ethereal and transparent. The knives are decorated with beautiful patterns, and the patterns are alternately decorated with mysterious inscriptions. Qian Ye looked at zanpakuto in his hand, very satisfied. Is this your post-liberation form? It is as beautiful as your body. After completing shikai, Qian Ye and zanpakuto can always maintain a state of communication. Qian Ye raised his sword and waved it forward, and the sword suddenly changed its shape, turning into a meteor hammer and slammed it forward. When Qian Ye closed his hand, the sword body changed again to grow a spear, which was held in his hand by Qian Ye. With Qian Ye's thoughts, the zanpakuto in his hand will change into different weapon forms according to Qian Ye's thoughts. In addition to these, Qian Ye has a lot of information in his mind, which is exactly what he used zanpakuto shikai. Qian Ye quit the sword meditation and stood up while holding the sealed state. You have completed shikai, and you will receive a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 500. Template Promotion Card X4. Super Template Promotion Card X1. Close Black Lens Bracket. You gave Zanpakuto the real name now Mihime, and you get a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 100. Keto 91 to 99 Template. Close Black Lens Bracket. Trigger Event. Try to use different forms of now Mihime. Close Black Lens Bracket. Qian Ye's previous liberation was done in the sword Zen space, so the Zanpakuto in his hand still looks like an inscription-less Zanpakuto. Qian Ye pulled out Wuming Zanpakuto in his hand and held it horizontally in front of him. Let's dance. Now Mimiheim. As Qian Ye shouted out the Jifangyu, the Zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hand became a long sword with patterns and inscriptions on the blade, and a transparent blade. At the same time, Qian Ye gave birth to a pair of spirit wings behind him. In this form, Qian Ye can fly with the spirit wings, and the spirit wings Qian Ye can freely choose to retract. The now Mihime in Qian Ye's hands can be transformed into different weapon shapes according to Qian Ye's mind. You try to use now Mihime's dancing form, and you get an event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close Black Lens Bracket. The first time you use now Mihime's shikai form, you will receive a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 100. Close Black Lens Bracket. Qian Ye no longer holds Zanpakuto, but holds Zanpakuto close to his heart. Show me. Now Mimiheim. Suddenly, Zanpakuto, who was attached to Qian Ye's heart, turned into a huge soul and flew around Qian Ye. The spirit child kept flying and gathering in Qian Ye's arms. When the spirit child stopped flying, Qian Ye had an extra woman in his arms. It is the main body of Zanpakuto, now Mihime. Now Mimiheim's spiritual power is no different from Reiatsu and Qian Ye. In this form, Qian Ye can use all the power of the previous form. At the same time, now Mihime will appear to fight alongside Qian Ye. Now Mihime can use her creative power to fight alone or cooperate with Qian Ye. You tried to use now Mihime's appearance form to get an event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close Black Lens Bracket. After now Mihime appeared, she left Qian Ye's arms and looked around curiously. It's still fun outside, I don't want to go back. Trigger Event. Accept now Mihime's request. Close Black Lens Bracket. What the hell? Now Mihime doesn't want to go back, is she want Qian Ye to keep her appearance? Qian Ye said. I don't want people to know that I have completed shikai for the time being. How about you wait another 3 years? Now Mihime said, I don't want it. Don't let people know that you have completed shikai. But, I need to keep the shikai state all the time. You see that my sealed state is gone. Qian Ye spread his hands and continued. I need the sealed state to stay in place. Even if I don't say anything, others will find me. If the sealed state is missing, you will be suspicious. Each Shinigami can only have one Zanpakuto, even if Qian Ye can sneak into the narrow space without being found, he cannot take another sealed state. Stupid. You can change into a sealed state, can't you use my ability to dance? Qian Ye was taken aback. Can it still be like this? In the dancing form of now Mihime, Qian Ye can make Zanpakuto in his hand change form as he wants. Now without Zanpakuto, can you create a sealed state out of thin air? The power of mind you can use now is pitifully limited, but it is still possible to create a sealed state with spiritual power. Qian Ye's thoughts moved, and a sealed state appeared in his hand. Qian Ye quickly discovered the difference. The sealed state in his hand had only its shape, not its meaning. In other words, the sealed state created by Qian Ye is actually a knife-like sealed state. Does not have the ability to truly sealed state. The true sealed state contains infinite possibilities. When Shinigami is connected with his mind, he can enter the sword meditation. Shinigami can liberate his real name and even complete Benkai after experiencing countless trials. The sealed state created by Qian Ye can still be chopped, but the rest will not work. Moreover, this sealed state cannot be separated from Qian Ye's radius of 10 meters. Now Mihime said, now that you have a sealed state, you can agree to it. Qian Ye said, let you keep this state, don't I need to consume spiritual energy? Now Mihime said, do you have any spiritual loss now? Qian Ye did not feel the loss of his own spiritual power, but found that now Mihime's spiritual power seemed to be slowly increasing. Asterisk. Chapter 31. She is my old aunt, 6/10. Chapter 31. She is my old aunt, 6/10. Qian Ye was surprised. Can you improve your spiritual power? This place is full of souls, is it weird for me to improve my spiritual power by myself? Qian Ye is speechless, and it is not a good thing that his zanpakuto is too good. Now can you promise me to stay by your side like this? Qian Ye said. Okay. But when you stay by my side in this form, don't be foolish. You have agreed to now Mihime's request, and you will receive an event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Now Mihime stared at Qian Ye and glanced up and down. Cut, a kid, who is rare. Qian Ye blushed. I'm talking nonsense, I didn't mean this. Also, if I am a kid, then you are the old aunt. Qian Ye, who was 14 years old soon, was 1.5 meters tall at this time, and it seemed that he was no longer a kid, but a handsome young man. Now Mihime smiled and said, okay, from now on, let my old lady take you to fly. Qian Ye didn't answer now Mihime, he could consider flying together, and let him fly. Qian Ye, continue to improve spiritual power, now is just the tip of the iceberg of my true strength. Although Qian Ye agreed to now Mihime, he had trouble with how to deal with her. Because now Mihime was transformed by Qian Ye's zanpakuto, she couldn't leave Qian Ye too far. She doesn't have to stick to Qian Ye's side all the time, as long as she is not too far away from Qian Ye. For example, Qian Ye is in the Mao Spiritual Academy, so as long as now Mimi is also within the scope of the Mao Spiritual Academy, nothing will happen. These few days happen to be the day when the new recruits of the Mao Spiritual Academy are enrolled, so send her to sign up. Now Mihime should be able to pass the entrance exam, right? Qian Ye brought now Mihime to the registration office. Among those responsible for registration here today, one of them is an acquaintance, Kuchiki Egret, who participated in the spiritual test with Qian Ye at that time. Kuchiki Shirasagi performed very well in the academy. She liberated Zanpakuto a year ago. It is said that she has applied for early graduation. After seeing Qian Ye, the Kuchiki Egret waved to Qian Ye and motioned Qian Ye to go over. Qian Ye, who was planning to line up with now Mihime, walked over directly and came to the sign up front. Qian Ye, why are you here? Who is she? Are you dating? The eyes of Kuchiki Egret kept spinning on now Mime, her heart was sour. Qian Ye said, she is my old aunt in my family when I was in this world. After she came to Rukongai and was bumped by me, I saw that her spiritual power and Reiatsu were good, so she brought her to sign up and see if she could also enter the real spirit. College study. Wow, you are so lucky that you can meet a living family in Rukongai. The chance is very small. In Rukongai, the mankind of this world can hardly meet his family, even acquaintances. Even if it is the same family Rukongai, they may not be able to meet each other for a lifetime. After hearing that now Mihime was Qian Ye's old aunt, Kuchiki Egret turned his gaze away from her and put his gaze on Qian Ye. Qian Ye's appearance belongs to Xiaoshuai's kind, although he is not as handsome as earth-shattering, it is enough to attract little girls. Auntie, tell me your information, I'll register it for you first. Now Mim was called an aunt by Kuchiki Egret, and she seemed a little unhappy, so she ignored Kuchiki Egret. Qian Ye said, she's named now Mihime, 27 this year, yes, 27 years old. Born in Rukongai West 38 District. Okay, registration is complete, Auntie, this is your registration wooden sign, you can take it to the test center. Now Mihime did not answer, Kuchiki Egret was a little embarrassed. Qian Ye took the wooden sign and said, thank you. Qian Ye, I have applied for early graduation, and the above has been approved. In 2 months, I will go to the world to participate in the Soul Funeral Internship. You have to go for it. I am waiting for you in the 13th squad. Qian Ye said. Come on. Kuchiki Beilu wanted to chat with Qian Ye, and there was a strange sound of yin and yang from the queue. Just skip the queue, and leave as soon as you finish the queue. I'm still wasting time here, it's really unqualified. Bang. As soon as this voice fell, there was a dull sound of falling to the ground. I saw a man with a beard, lying on the ground in pain. He gritted his teeth and wanted to stand up, but there was a heavy Reiatsu on his body that was constantly pressing down. His face was already tightly pressed to the ground at this moment, and it looked a little deformed because of excessive squeezing. That is Qian Ye's Reiatsu. The current Qian Ye is no longer the stunned green before. In terms of spiritual control and the use of Reiatsu, both reached the extreme level. At this moment, although he didn't turn around, he accurately controlled Reiatsu, only exerting pressure on the bearded man who opened his mouth with yin and yang strangely, without hurting anyone around him. I was wrong, please forgive me. After the opponent begged for mercy, Qian Ye turned around and looked at the man who was crushed by Reiatsu on the ground and said, "If you can be admitted to the Mao Spiritual Academy, when you see me, remember to walk around, remember. Remember." Qian Ye left Reiatsu and took Nayu Mihime towards the test field. You punished the Rukongai gangster who was rude to you, and received a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. After the bearded man got up, he discovered that his whole body was soaked with cold sweat. What a terrible Reiatsu. The rest of the people in the line looked dumbfounded. What happened just now? Why did they feel nothing at all? The Kuchiki egret looked at Qian Ye's back infatuatedly. So handsome. After graduation, if you can join him in the same squad, it would be great. No, I have to find an opportunity to ask Qian Ye to see which team he wants to join, so I can go to that team and wait for him first. On the way to the test site, Qian Ye suddenly received the prompt. You get a little fangirl, and get a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Little fangirl. What the hell? Asterisk. Chapter 32. Who is this time again, 7/10. Advertise here. Chapter 32. Who is this time again, 7/10. Entrance test for new students of the Mao Spiritual Academy. One of the examiners in charge here walked over after seeing Qian Ye. Qian Ye, why are you here? I remember you are not on the help list. Qian Ye found out that this person was one of his roommates, who seemed to be called Fujiwara Gu. Fujiwara is the first student in Qian Ye dormitory to liberate Zanpakuto's real name. Ever since living in a dormitory, Fujiwara Gu has been living under Qian Ye's genius prestige. He didn't expect that he could liberate Zanpakuto's real name by Qian Ye first. Therefore, he deliberately showed his Zanpakuto in front of Qian Ye to satisfy his vanity. Qian Ye replied, I sent my present old aunt to take the entrance test. Oh, your present old aunt. Because the name of Qian Ye's genius was too heavy in Fujiwara Gu's heart, every time Qian Ye appeared, he would automatically ignore other people unconsciously, leaving only Qian Ye in his eyes. Therefore, after Qian Ye talked about it, Fujiwara Gu noticed that there was a big beauty behind Qian Ye. It's not old anymore. Qian Ye smiled. She is 27 years old, isn't she old enough? Fujiwara Gu heard that he was a little embarrassed. He has been in Seoul society for almost 50 years. So, Fujiwara Gu diverged the topic and said, Qian Ye, you are so lucky that you can meet acquaintances in this world. This is the second time Qian Ye heard this today. Yeah, I have been lucky. Fujiwara returned to his post and continued to work, while Qian Ye looked bored at the freshmen who participated in the test. After half an hour, the examiner called Nao Mihime's name. Before Nao Mihime walked into the special room for the spiritual power test, Qian Ye reminded, just relax. 3 minutes after Nao Mihime entered, there was a loud noise in the house. Qian Ye helped her forehead helplessly, didn't she let her relax? After half an hour, Kuretsuchi Mayuri came to the scene with Nirvana. Since the props developed by Kuretsuchi Mayuri were paralyzed by Qian Ye, he has greatly strengthened the spiritual power test device. With the current psychic power testing device, even if the psychic power of the general captain class is out of control and explodes, there will be no accident. As a result, Kuretsuchi Mayuri received news that there was another problem with the psychic test device. This time it was not paralyzed, but directly exploded to pieces. Kuretsuchi Mayuri just walked into the test field and asked loudly, Who? Who is this time? While he questioned, he spread out his own Reiatsu, making the freshmen tremble in fright. Trigger mission. Help Nao Mihime set this up. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye walked towards Kuretsuchi Mayuri. Kuretsuchi Mayuri put away Qian Ye when he saw Qian Ye. Reiatsu. Brother Qian Ye, why are you here? Brother Nirvana, let's take a step to speak. As early as 2 years ago, Kuretsuchi Mayuri took the initiative to recognize Qian Ye's younger brother because of the spiritual power of Qian Ye. Kuretsuchi Mayuri followed Qian Ye to one side. What's the matter? You didn't cause this explosion, right? Qian Ye pointed to Nao Mihime who was standing not far away and looking here, and said, It's not me, it's her. She. Kuretsuchi Mayuri looked at Naomi Heim, and she realized that he couldn't see through Naomi Heim's Reiatsu. It felt like he couldn't see through Qian Ye's Reiatsu when he first saw Qian Ye. She is your relative. Qian Ye nodded. She is my old aunt in this world. That's okay. Kuretsuchi Mayuri turned to Nianmeng and said, Go and clean up the fragments inside, and then bring the spare spiritual power test device. After Nianmeng led the mission into the room where the explosion occurred, Kuretsuchi Mayuri held Qian Ye's shoulder and said, Your old aunt's spiritual power is the same as yours. Qian Ye nodded. Regarding this, Qian Ye didn't hide it. After Neomum brought back the fragments of the psychic power test device after the explosion, once Kuretsuchi Mayuri extracted and studied it, it was found that Nao Mihime's psychic power was exactly the same as that of Reiatsu and Qian Ye. Ha ha ha, Then you ask your old aunt to also provide me with spiritual power. Yesterday was the day you and I agreed to provide spiritual power. As a result, your kid didn't know where to go, and Nianmeng couldn't find anyone anywhere. It's the dozens of times that similar situations happened yesterday. Although Qian Ye often put Kuretsuchi Mayuri pigeons, it did not affect him to make psychic bombs. After all, Qian Ye's current spiritual power has doubled several times compared to before. The spiritual power Qian Ye provided each time was enough for Kuretsuchi Mayuri to use for a while. Trigger event. Reject Kuretsuchi Mayuri. Close black lens bracket. Brother Nei is sorry, my old aunt has a weird temper, so. You rejected Kuretsuchi Mayuri, and you get the event reward. Spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Okay, I see. Kuretsuchi Mayuri was unexpectedly simple. At this time, Nirvana, who had cleaned up the fragments, came out. Kuretsuchi Mayuri said, "Then I will go first. Don't forget to take time to contribute your spiritual power to the Technology Development Bureau these days." The person in charge of the test center who had been unable to intervene, saw that Kuretsuchi Mayuri was leaving, and hurriedly came to Kuretsuchi Mayuri. "Captain Nirvana, how do you deal with this freshman?" Kuretsuchi Mayuri said, "It can blow up the second generation of the spiritual power test device I made, indicating that her spiritual power and Reiatsu are above the average captain, and I will teach you how to do it next." The person in charge of the test field hurriedly said, "I know how to do it, thanks to Captain Nei for guidance." Qian Ye. The signing contract was sent out this afternoon, and everyone can rest assured to collect it. I hope that the readers with flowers and evaluation votes can give Qian Ye a little support. Please. Asterisk. Chapter 33. Above the extreme, below the extreme 8/10. Advertise here. Chapter 33. Above the extreme, below the limit 8/10. After Kuretsuchi Mayuri left with Nirvana, the person in charge of the test center personally handed Nao Mihime a sign. "Congratulations, you passed the test, go directly to the college to register for the report. You helped Nao Mihime set the matter, and get the event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket." After Qian Ye left with Nao Mihime, a crowd of freshmen in the test field exploded. "It's amazing. I skipped the written test and joined the Mao Spiritual Academy directly. I'm so envious." Don't be envious, if you can blow up the psychic test device, so can you. Some freshmen also noticed Qian Ye. "I think the boy in school uniform is even better. He is still a college student, so he can be a brother to the captain. What a cow. I can't perceive him at all. Reiatsu, maybe he is a noble child of that family, because he has a good background." As soon as this person's voice fell, everyone around was looking at him. "Because it's too sour." Fujiwara Gu looked at Qian Ye's departure direction in a daze. Are the people in Qian Ye's family so awesome? Qian Ye paralyzed the psychic test device when he enrolled in school, and his old aunt directly caused the psychic test device to explode. I just heard Captain Nirvana say that her spiritual power and Reiatsu are above the average captain. Fujiwara Furu looked at Zanpakuto, who was hung around his waist and had liberated his real name. Fortunately, I will liberate Zanpakuto's real name first by Qian Ye. I finally have a place to beat Qian Ye. That's all. Now Mihime was successfully admitted to the Mao Spiritual Academy. Because her performance was excellent enough, she was assigned to the elite class. Qian Ye feels weird. He himself has not graduated from the Mao Spiritual Academy, but his Zanpakuto was admitted to the Mao Spiritual Academy. If you want to stay outside in the current form, then be obedient, don't do anything out of the ordinary, don't. Now Mihime interrupted Qian Ye and said, "How many times do you have to say, I can recite it? You are so long-winded." After Noshue Mihime returned to her own dormitory, Qian Ye found an unmanned training ground. He remembers getting a super template promotion card, and he can't wait to see what level is below the so-called extreme above the limit. Qian Ye did not rush to use the super template upgrade card, but first used 4 template upgrade cards to upgrade the Keto 91 to 99 template just obtained. Successfully used the template upgrade card, and the Keto 91 to 99 template was successfully upgraded to C level. Close black lens bracket. Successfully used the template upgrade card, and the Keto 91 to 99 template was successfully upgraded to S level. Close black lens bracket. You use 4 template upgrade cards in one breath, upgrade a template from D level to S level, and get the hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye was a little speechless, but he didn't expect this to be a hidden incident. Now, let me think about which template to use with the super template upgrade card first. The 4 templates of Zongquan and Devil's 4 skills have broken through to the extreme. Although it improves me, it can't make me change qualitatively. It's best to use the Psychic Control template and the Reiatsu template, so which one should I choose? Spiritual control is very important, but I have reached the extreme level now, and it is sufficient at this stage. Improving Reiatsu can make a qualitative change in my current strength. Qian Ye decided to apply the first super template upgrade card to the Reiatsu template. Use super templates to upgrade cards. Using the super template to upgrade the card successfully, the Reiatsu template is successfully upgraded to the SS level. Close black lens bracket. The first time you use the super template to upgrade the card, you will get the hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. For the first time you break the template level to S level, you will get the hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 1000. Close black lens bracket. At this time, Qian Ye didn't pay attention to the prompt sound in his mind. He is feeling his own changes. Reiatsu's template level broke through S level, and after reaching SS level, Qian Ye found that his spiritual strength was more than twice as strong as before. If Qian Ye releases his Reiatsu completely in the Karakura town center, the entire Karakura town residents will be taken away directly. Of course, it refers to ordinary residents, with the exception of Uruhara Kazuki and others who live in Karakura town. If Qian Ye returns to Rukongai North 80 district, he will face those wandering souls in Zaraki district. Qian Ye only needs to release Reiatsu, and they can be turned into souls and dissipated directly. The current Qian Ye, even in the face of the leader of the team, Yamamoto Yuanyuzai Shigekuni, has the power to fight. I didn't expect to improve so much after breaking through the extreme. What about after breaking the limit? Qian Ye is now very eager to get another super template upgrade card. Now Mihime's dormitory. Now Mihime, who was clearing her bed, suddenly shook. She noticed that her Reiatsu suddenly doubled. Qian Ye, what can you do better than I thought? Just keep improving and becoming stronger. ... With Qian Ye's repeated instructions, now Mimaheim's performance at the Mao Spiritual Academy shocked everyone's eyes from time to time, but it was not too out of the ordinary and was within Qian Ye's acceptable range. Half a year later, Kuchiki Beilu participated in the Soul Burial Internship in advance. If it goes well, she will graduate early. Before taking part in the Soul Burial practice, Kuchiki Egret found Qian Ye. Qian Ye, which team do you want to join after graduation? Qian Ye did not rush to answer. The person who asked him this question last time was Rukia Kuchiki. On behalf of Byakuya Kuchiki, Rukia Kuchiki invited Qian Ye to join the 6th division. This time Kuchiki Egret came to ask Qian Ye again. Could it be that Byakuya Kuchiki sent it again? No wonder Qian Ye thought so, who made Kuchiki Egret belong to the Kuchiki family. Captain Kuchiki of the 6th division invited me. Qian Ye's meaning is very clear. Your patriarch has already invited him. If he wanted to agree, he would have agreed. Let Kuchiki Egret stop wasting his thoughts to invite him. Kuchiki Egret was overjoyed. Really? I know. Kuchiki Egret left as soon as he finished speaking. Qian Ye breathed a sigh of relief and secretly said that the Kuchiki Egret was quite on the way, and he understood what he meant. But I don't know that the thoughts of him and Kuchiki Egret are not on the same channel at all. Asterisk. Chapter 34. The kind that can beat the teacher to tears 9/10. Advertise here. Chapter 34. The kind that can beat the teacher to tears 9/10. A few days later, Kuchiki Beilu graduated from the Mao Spiritual Academy in advance and joined the 6th division. She asked Qian Ye to bring a word. She was waiting for him in the 6th division team. Qian Ye didn't take it seriously after getting the report, and Byakuya Kuchiki didn't even give up inviting him to join the 6th division team. If Kuchiki Egret knew Qian Ye's response to her in his heart, I wonder if he would cry and faint in the toilet. Time flies. Qian Ye has been admitted to the Mao Spiritual Academy for 6 years. Tomorrow, Qian Ye will go to the world to participate in a soul burial practice. If the soul burial internship goes well, Qian Ye will successfully graduate from the Mao Spiritual Academy. You can graduate from the academy without completing shikai. It only affects whether you can join the 13th squad. Go to the preparation room for soul burial in this world. Qian Ye and a group of 6th graders were waiting here, and Qian Ye's roommate Fujiwara Jiyu was among them. Qian Ye asked, why are we waiting here? Doesn't it smell fragrant to go in and sit? The 16-year-old Qian Ye already has a height of nearly 1.8 meters. Qian Ye looked a little thin, and anyone who knew him knew that there was unimaginable power in this seemingly thin body. In addition to our 6th graders, there are also 2 junior students who applied for graduation in advance. We will go to the world with them to participate in a soul burial internship. Oh, that's it. Fujiwara Jiyu said suddenly. Right, I'll rely on you in a while, Qian Ye. The surrounding students also gathered around. Yes, Qian Ye, I can rely on you for a while. Trigger event. Promise Fujiwara and others. Close black lens bracket. Although the event was triggered, Qian Ye did not rush to agree. He still doesn't know what Fujiwara and others are talking about. What are you talking about? Qian Ye asked. Qian Ye, you are participating in the soul burial internship for the first time, so if you don't know the rules, let me tell you about it. Fujiwara Jiyu paused, and continued, it's like this. Whenever a junior student applies for a soul burial internship in advance, the 6th graders will make things difficult for them first. Fujiwara-ku was very excited. I have always known this custom, but unfortunately I have participated in 5 soul burial internships before but failed to meet it. This time I finally met it. Qian Ye said. Then you follow the custom and make things difficult for the 2 lower grades, why rely on me? Fujiwara Jiyu smiled bitterly and said, Qian Ye, you don't know, one of the juniors is very strong. Oh, how strong is it? A student next to him interjected. I heard that the coaching teacher can be beaten to cry. Do you cry the coaching teacher? That's really strong. If so interesting. Well, I will meet him soon. You agreed to the request of Fujiwara and others, and received the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. About 10 minutes later, a boy with a hat came to Qian Ye and others. Are you the trash who stayed for 6 years to graduate from the academy? I am a 4th-year student who applied for a soul burial internship in advance. My name is Momonosuke. Trigger task. Help of the peach that makes things difficult. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye, who was looking at the boy, was taken aback. Momonosuke. This name. Qian Ye stood up. You are very arrogant. Daojisuke was taken aback for a moment, then pointed at Qian Ye arrogantly, saying. Which green onion is you guy who doesn't even have spiritual power? I know your rules, let the strongest here to fight with me, you are not qualified. Qian Ye patted Momonosuke's hand and pointed at him. It seems that I have been underestimated. Fujiwara Ji said beside Qian Ye, F*K him. Momonosuke's eyes changed when he looked at Qian Ye. Are you the genius Qian Ye who resounds throughout the entire Mao Spiritual Academy? Qian Ye nodded. A genius dare not be a genius, but I am indeed Qian Ye. Momonosuke laughed and said. You can enter the sword meditation as soon as you get the sealed state. As a result, you can't complete shikai in 6 years. Of course you are not a genius, you are just a waste. Fujiwara and others looked at Momonosuke angrily when they heard that this kid was too arrogant. Although Qian Ye has not liberated Zanpakuto's real name until now, in their hearts, Qian Ye is still a godlike genius. Because Qian Ye is so good in other aspects, enough to get rid of them 10 streets. If such Qian Ye are trash, then what are they? Therefore, when Momosuke sells Qian Ye's waste, Fujiwara and others will be so angry. Qian Ye, F*K him. Qian Ye, F*K him. Qian Ye, F*K him. ... Fujiwara Furu and others unanimously shouted together, making Momonosuke involuntarily take a step back. Qian Ye said to Daoji, 3 tricks for you. Let's attack. Qian Ye finished speaking and pressed Reiatsu towards Momono's help. Even if Qian Ye only used less than 10% of his strength, Momonosuke still couldn't bear Qian Ye's Reiatsu. Under the pressure of Qian Ye Reiatsu, he stood still and could not move. What's the matter? Hurry up. Don't worry, I told you 3 moves will let you 3 moves. Before you finish the 3 moves, I'll stand still here. Momonosuke just wanted to curse in his heart. He can't move now, he can't even speak, how can he make a move? Although Fujiwara and the others didn't know that Momonosuke, who was so arrogant just now, why suddenly stood still and did nothing except the trembling of his legs. They knew that it must be Qian Ye's method. Fujiwara-ko said. Hurry up. With Fujiwara Ji taking the lead, the other 6th graders also yelled. Hurry up, hurry up, ... Qian Ye retracted Reiatsu and said, I just teased you, now you can make a move. Momonosuke only felt the pressure on his body relieved, and he kept breathing out like an amnesty. Make a move to Qian Ye in front of him. What a joke. Qian Ye just released Reiatsu, which made him immobile, and he did a fart. Asterisk. Chapter 35. Passing the boundary gate 10 out of 10. Advertise here. Chapter 35. Crossing the boundary gate 10 out of 10. Sorry, I am not your opponent. Momonosuke didn't want to admit counseling, but he had to admit counseling. You make things difficult for Momonosuke and get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye said to Daoji, I have something to advise you. Senior Qian Ye, please say. After seeing Qian Ye's Reiatsu, Momonosuke no longer dared to be arrogant in front of Qian Ye, even using the honorific title. Qian Ye said seriously, change your name. Momonosuke was taken aback, why did he change his name? Fujiwara Ji and the others were also taken aback, they thought Qian Ye was going to say something profound. Qian Ye turned around and walked towards the preparation room. He thought that among the people like Fujiwara Ji, how good is the lower grade student who can beat the teacher to cry? In the end, that's it. Qian Ye, didn't you promise to help us, don't go in yet. The lower grader that Fujiwara Furu and others said could make the teacher cry, isn't it Momonosuke who has become a good baby now and is studying what name to change? It seems that the remaining junior student is very twitchy, he hasn't come yet. 10 minutes later, another lower grader finally arrived late. After Qian Ye and Fujiwara Ji saw who came, they were all stunned. Qian Ye, isn't this your old aunt? That's right, the visitor is now Mihime. After she learned that Qian Ye was about to graduate, she submitted an application for early graduation. If Qian Ye were to leave the Mao Spiritual Academy, she would naturally follow. Where Qian Ye goes, she will go. Don't get me wrong, this is not a husband sings a woman. Qian Ye said. Sorry, I can't help with this favor. One person asked incomprehensibly, why? Qian Ye, you see that the other party is a girl, so reluctant to do it. Qian Ye said. I can't win. Daojisuke on the side was silly, this late girl is better than Qian Ye. Old Fujiwara said. Qian Ye, I understand you, it's not that you can't win, but. The other 6th graders were puzzled, Fujiwara Ji whispered. She is Qian Ye's old aunt in this world. I'm going. No wonder it's so strong. It turns out to be a relative of Qian Ye. A fat man approached Qian Ye. Qian Ye, my sister has no boyfriend yet, do you want to think about it? No, thank you. Ah, your family's genes are so great, and my sister's child must also be a genius. Just think about it. My sister looks good. No need, thank you. You rejected the matchmaker, Fujita said on behalf of my sister, and received a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Now Mihime came to Qian Ye. What are you talking about, what sister? Qian Ye said. Since all are here, let's go in. Fujiwara Gu and others hurriedly agreed with Qian Ye. Yes, let's go in. They knew they weren't now Miko's opponent, and wanted to rely on Qian Ye, but now Miko and Qian Ye were relatives. What can we do? Naturally, forget it. Wait, now Mihime said, I heard that you have a very interesting custom event. Is it because I'm late and it's over? Fujiwara Kodao. Yes, it's over. Momonosuke, who came before you, participated in our custom activities, right, Momonosuke? Momonosuke nodded. Fujiwara Old Road. Look, I didn't lie. Momonosuke interrupted Fujiwara Ko's words. In fact, this custom is that they, 6th graders, have to make things difficult for our lower graders. I have indeed participated in it. Oh, are you making things difficult? Now Mihime asked. Momonosuke nodded. They are too bullying, you must give us our lower grades to vent their anger. Momosuke, who fanned the flames, felt that the wave had stabilized. Before Momosuke was happy, he heard now Mihime say to him, since you don't have the strength, don't be arrogant, trash. Do you dare to call me waste? Momonosuke glared at now Mihime. Now Mihime glared back unceremoniously. Boom. At this moment, Momonosuke's whole person is not good. He felt that the terrifying Reiatsu hit him like a sea wave, and the waves of Reiatsu were stronger and stronger. This now Mihime's Reiatsu was even more terrifying than Qian Ye. In fact, Qian Ye is the same as now Mimiheim's Reiatsu, but now Mimiheim uses 10% more strength than Qian Ye. Fujiwara and others are now in the same situation as Momonosuke. Now Mihime did not control Reiatsu like Qian Ye, but only targeted Momonosuke, who covered the entire yard with Reiatsu. Wow, it's so lively. Can you add me to play together? After now Mihime put away Reiatsu, a figure fell beside Qian Ye. Captain Ichimaru Jin. Fujiwara Gu was taken aback. He didn't expect Shinigami to be the captain of the 3rd Division, Ichimaru Jin. Leading the team to the present world for soul burial practice has always been the responsibility of the deputy captains and seat officers of each squad. Why is it the captain level this time? Ichimaru Jin first nodded to Qian Ye, and then said, since everyone is here, then follow me in. Originally, the person who led the team this time was the deputy captain of the 5th Division Hinamori Momo. Ichimaru Jin knew that Hinamori Momo was hopeless against Aizen, and worried that Hinamori Momo would have an impact on Qian Ye. He found a suitable excuse to take over the task of leading the team to practice soul burial in this world. In the preparation room, Shinigami of the Spiritual Academy is already waiting here. They are responsible for opening the door to the world here. At that time, Qian Ye and others will be guided by the Hell Butterfly to pass through the gate to this world. Chapter 36. Soul Burial Internship 1/10. Advertise here. Chapter 36. Soul Burial Practice 1/10. After Ichimaru Jin nodded to the Shinigami of the Spiritual Academy, the Shinigami of the Spiritual Academy began to open the door of the crossing. As the crossing gate opened, Ichimaru Jin said, follow me in. Ichimaru Jin walked in first after speaking. Except for Qian Ye and the 2 lower graders, it is not the first time for everyone else to pass through the gate. They followed Ichimaru Jin into the crossing gate in a familiar manner. As Qian Ye stepped into the crossing gate, the prompt sounded. Trigger event. Complete the internship of the soul burial in this world. Close black lens bracket. The first time you pass through the gate, you will get a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. The first time you step into the broken world, you will receive a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Entering through the gate will not directly reach the world, but enter the channel between the soul society and the world, the boundary. Qian Ye looked at this passage called Duanji curiously, and he was curious whether other planes could also be connected by opening such a passage. Of course, with Qian Ye's current strength, it was not enough to investigate this passage clearly. Let's talk about it later. Seeing Qian Ye staring at Duanji, Ichimaru Jin said. Qian Ye, don't be nervous, although there will be abrupt and constrained flow in this passage, you can rest assured, since we have opened the passage to let you go to this world, we are naturally fully prepared and there will be no accidents. Qian Ye is non-committal, although he has not seen Jutu and Juliu with his own eyes. Qian Ye still understands what is the boundary and restraint flow. The so-called restraint can actually be understood as a line of defense. In order to prevent the enemy from invading soul society through the boundary, the channel of the boundary is full of restraints. Juliu can block the movement of the spirit body. In this world, whether it is Shinigami, the imaginary, or the quintessence, all rely on the spirit to fight. The restraint that can prevent the movement of the spirit body can play a role that can be imagined. The reason why there is no restriction in the passage of the boundary now. It is because Shinigami, a professional subordinate, has temporarily blocked the flow of restraint by special means. The so-called Jutsu is the giant insect scavenger in the boundary. The time density of the boundary is 2,000 times that of the outside. 2,000 years here is equivalent to 1 year outside. The regular detentions are a means to prevent people from staying in the boundary for a long time. Soon, Qian Ye and others, led by Ichimaru Jin, passed through the boundary and came to this world. You have already assigned areas to each of you before. Follow the instructions to go to your respective areas of responsibility. Yes, Captain Ichimaru Jin. The crowd spread out in all directions and quickly disappeared from Ichimaru Jin's field of vision. Qian Ye stood still on the roof that landed after coming out of the crossing gate. According to the distribution of Ichimaru Jin, Qian Ye is in charge of the area where he is now. Qian Ye looked at the surrounding buildings, feeling a bit familiar. At this moment, the prompt sounded. You arrive at the real Karakura town for the first time, and you will receive a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. No wonder I feel familiar, it turns out that this is Karakura town. Ichimaru Jin came to Qian Ye's side, put his hand on Qian Ye's shoulder, and asked, Qian Ye, have you finished shikai? Ichimaru Jin couldn't see through Qian Ye's spiritual power and Reiatsu. He put his hand on Qian Ye and used a special method to probe. Qian Ye noticed it for the first time, but didn't stop it. Captain Ichimaru Jin, didn't you say that before graduation, did I not even tell you shikai? Ichimaru Jin was very puzzled, he didn't detect anything. But he still withdrew his hand and said, very well, it seems that you really understand what I said to you, and you have taken my words to heart. Qian Ye asked. Captain Ichimaru Jin, I will graduate soon, do you have anything else to say to me? Ichimaru Jin suddenly put away his usual smiling face, and said with a serious face, I can tell you, but are you sure you are ready? Qian Ye replied. It's been 6 years, I think I'm ready. Ichimaru Jin looked at Qian Ye's confident eyes, and wanted to tell Qian Ye everything immediately. But after he had endured it for so many years, he finally endured it. However, it is okay to remind Qian Ye to pay attention to Aizen. Qian Ye, when you choose a division after you graduate, you must not choose the 5th division. I can tell you now, there is only so much. Qian Ye felt bored, he thought Ichimaru Jin was going to be honest with him at last. Since Ichimaru Jin was not honest, Qian Ye had to pretend not to know anything. Qian Ye, although I don't know why, since Captain Ichimaru Jin said that, then I won't choose the 5th division. Also, in any case, don't look at Shikai, the captain of the 5th division. Remember, don't in any case. I remember. Naturally, Ichimaru Jin does not need to remind. However, Qian Ye did not intend to follow suit. Because he already has a way to deal with Aizen Zanpakuto's ability. After staying at the Mao Academy of Spiritualism for the past 6 years, Qian Ye has not wasted time. Soul Burial Internship, with your strength, shouldn't you need my help? Certainly. After Qian Ye and Ichimaru Jin separated, they began to search for the Lushui in this area. Trigger mission. Complete the soul burial mission within 1 hour. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye was overjoyed, but he didn't expect it to be a time-limited mission. The requirement for soul burial practice is to carry out soul burial for at least 5 whole spirits. As for the existences that are not the whole spirit, Shinigami, who has been stationed in this area for a long time, is responsible. Qian Ye, these students of the Mao Spiritual Academy who are doing soul burial internships, don't care. 5 minutes later, Qian Ye found a neat spirit wandering on the street. Asterisk. Chapter 37. From the rejection of Ichimaru Jin, no longer low-key, 2/10. Advertise here. Chapter 37. From the rejection of Ichimaru Jin, no longer low-key, 2/10. The whole spirit that Qian Ye found was an old man. The old man kept chanting, where is the birthday cake I bought? Where is the birthday cake I bought? The old man suddenly raised his head and looked at Qian Ye who fell in front of him. Did you see the cake I bought? I have to celebrate my grandson's birthday. Wow, so pitiful. There is no fluctuation in Qian Ye's heart, who is not a pitiful person. Qian Ye didn't talk nonsense, and pulled out the sealed state around his waist, and then held the sealed state backhand, pressing the handle of the knife against the old man's forehead. The old man asked, young man, what are you doing? Qian Ye replied, send you where you should go. Old man, can I find my cake there? I don't know, you can find it by yourself when you get there. Oh, I can't find my cake here, then you can send me there to find it. Qian Ye has completed the soul burial ceremony for the old man, but the old man has no response. What about the soul character that will appear on the old man's forehead? Qian Ye retracted the sealed state and stared at the hilt for a while before remembering. What he has in his hand is not the real sealed state, but he created it himself, a knife like a sealed state. Qian Ye perceives now Mihime's Reiatsu and rushes in the direction where she is. The old man watched Qian Ye, who was constantly leaping away and quickly disappeared from his field of vision, and said, hey, don't go, aren't you going to send me to a new place to find cakes? When Qian Ye found now Mihime, she was sitting on a high platform, shaking her legs boredly. You are too slow, I have been waiting for you for a while. Qian Ye looked at Nao Mihim's waist, where a sealed state hung. Qian Ye suddenly thought of a question. As my zanpakuto, can you also obtain the sealed state? And you can apply for soul burial in advance. Have you completed Zanpakuto's real name liberation? Nao Mihime snapped her fingers, and the sealed state on her waist disappeared. You created it. Qian Ye felt incredible. Then how did you accomplish the liberation of your real name? Nao Mihime raised her hand, and the sealed state appeared in her hand again. Change. Miko. The sealed state in Nao Mihime's hands has become a big sword. Miko is the name she gave to the Zanpakuto she created. Now, that's it. Qian Ye is speechless. Isn't this his ability to liberate Nao Mihime? So, you can't have a soul burial. Yeah, otherwise, what am I waiting for you? Then return to the standard. Nao Mihime nodded, transforming into spirit children and reuniting into a transparent Zanpakuto appearance. Qian Ye cancelled Nao Mihime's shikai status and turned him into the appearance of Wuming Zanpakuto, then turned and looked behind him. Ichimaru Jin smiled and showed his figure. Qian Ye, you are really amazing, but I was surprised that Reiatsu fluctuated, so you felt it. In the corner, Ichimaru Jin with a black cloak walked out. He was really surprised, not only that Qian Ye had actually completed shikai, not just because of Qian Ye Zanpakuto's liberated form, but because Qian Ye could find him. Because it was night, Ichimaru Jin wore a black cloak developed by Unohana Kazuki. Qian Ye just discovered Ichimaru Jin. The black cloak worn by Ichimaru Jin, also known as the Lingbi suit, can completely hide the user's Reiatsu. Qian Ye's current Reiatsu is above the limit and below the limit. Before Ichimaru Jin's Reiatsu did not fluctuate, Qian Ye did not even perceive Ichimaru Jin. I have to say, it deserves to be Unohana Kazuki's invention something. Now that you are in Karakura town, should you visit Unohana Kazuki? Ichimaru Jin came in front of Qian Ye, looked at Qian Ye's Nao Mihime who had returned to the inscription Zanpakuto, and looked at the sealed state on Qian Ye's waist. You cover up well, but you are still not cautious. Qian Ye didn't take this seriously, if it weren't for the long-time mission that hadn't attracted Aizen's attention for 6 years. Qian Ye will never conceal the fact that he has been shikai long ago, and will never stay in the Mao Spiritual Academy for 6 years. I hope that this event that takes 6 years to complete, and the rewards obtained after completion, don't let him down. I will pay attention later. Ichimaru Jin said. Qian Ye deserves to be you, your Zanpakuto shikai is very special, it can be transformed into a human form, and... He paused and continued. Moreover, your Zanpakuto turned into a human form and stayed in the Mao Spiritual Academy for 3 years. This is incredible. Ichimaru Jin has never heard of Zanpakuto who can do this. Yeah, I also think my Zanpakuto is great. Facing Qian Ye's answer, Ichimaru Jin was a little awkward. Since I already know that you finished shikai, can you tell me when you finished it? 3 years ago. Ichimaru Jin was once again embarrassed. Since Qian Ye Zanpakuto has transformed into a human form and spent 3 years in the Mao Spiritual Academy, it is naturally. Qian Ye, you may think that your strength is already strong now, but there are some outsiders and there are heavens. I hope you can continue to keep a low profile and come to my 3rd division team. I can help you hide your true strength. Trigger optional task. Agree or reject Ichimaru Jin. Close black lens bracket. Still keeping a low profile. When I was in the academy, I had to keep a low profile. After entering the 13th division, I still kept a low profile. Qian Ye knows what Ichimaru Jin is worried about. Isn't it just that Qian Ye will be targeted by Aizen after he attracts Aizen's attention? Since Aizen wants to target, let him try. There is always a solution to a problem. Qian Ye is no longer a kid when he was just crossing, except for his lack of actual combat experience. His own strength has reached the level of the captain. Qian Ye put his hand on the sealed state hung around his waist, and the sealed state dissipated as a spirit. Captain Ichimaru Jin, the next road, I want to go by myself. You rejected Ichimaru Jin, and you get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. Nao Mihime. Help Qian Ye ask for flowers and ask for evaluation votes. Asterisk. Chapter 38. Jingxian Menos Grande, 3/10. Advertise here. Chapter 38. Menos Grande, 3/10. Ichimaru Jin was surprised that Qian Ye rejected him. Seeing Qian Ye's resolute attitude, he had to remind again. Well, I hope you remember what I told you before, don't choose the 5th division after graduation, don't look at Shikai, the captain of the 5th division. Qian Ye said, Captain Ichimaru Jin, now Mimahime will no longer exist in human form. Can you please help cover up about this? After the soul burial internship is over and return to Soul Society, the Academy will determine the internship results by checking the seal on the hilt of the sealed state. As Qian Ye Zanpakuto, Mihime now without Zanpakuto would naturally not be able to complete the soul burial practice. Moreover, once the Academy examines the sealed state created by Nao Mihime herself, it will reveal itself. In order to avoid this, Qian Ye will let Nashue Mihime return to her original form, and will no longer always exist in a human form. Although it's a bit troublesome, let me think of a way. Ichimaru Jin replied. Thank you, Captain Ichimaru Jin, then I will continue my soul burial internship. Qian Ye left after speaking. Ichimaru Jin looked at the direction Qian Ye was leaving, and sighed inwardly. Qian Ye, your talent is really the highest I have ever seen in my life, but it is a pity that your talent is too high and your temperament is too high. If you know how terrifying the enemy you might face Aizen is, you might listen to me obediently. It's a pity, such a whole card that might be able to compete with Aizen is so wasted. It seems that I can only rely on myself. In Ichimaru Jin's view, although Qian Ye is very strong now, Aizen is still incomparable. Qian Ye returned to the old man's place where he had found before, and buried him in his soul. After half an hour, Qian Ye completed the task of soul burial. You completed the soul burial mission within 1 hour, and received the event reward, Spiritual Power Plus 100. Close black lens bracket. After the soul burial mission is completed, the event of completing the soul burial internship has not yet been prompted to complete. Qian Ye guessed that it should be completed after returning to Soul Society, so he didn't take it to heart. What's next? The duration of the soul burial internship is 6 hours. Less than an hour has passed, Qian Ye can stay in Karakura town for 5 hours. At this moment, Qian Ye suddenly felt a strange Reiatsu. Qian Ye raised his head and looked into the air. I saw a pair of pale big hands, tearing open a big black hole in the air. Then, a big head with a white mask looking a little horrified came out of the black opening. Qian Ye was surprised. The big black hole that was torn apart is the black cavity that, Hueco Mundo, connects to the world, which is similar to the boundary that connects the world to the Soul Society. The big man who appeared was Manos Grande. A Reiatsu that was controlled not to disperse rose to the sky. It was Ichimaru Jin's Reiatsu. All the students of the Mao Spiritual Academy who participated in the soul burial internship, after sensing Ichimaru Jin's Reiatsu, gathered in the direction of Ichimaru Jin. Trigger task. Acting with Ichimaru Jin. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye, who wanted to find Manos Grande to practice his hands, was taken aback, but also rushed in the direction of Ichimaru Jin. It turns out that Manos Grande was summoned by Ichimaru Jin. Why Ichimaru Jin summoned Manos Grande is naturally to help Qian Ye solve the disappearance of Naomimi. When Qian Ye waited for the students to gather towards Ichimaru Jin. Inside a shop in Karakura town, an uncle wearing a fisherman hat, sitting and picking his feet raised his head, his army green eyes flashed with surprise. I didn't expect Manos Grande to appear, it's abnormal. This person is Urahara Kazuki. He had perceived Reiatsu of Fujiwara and others as early as Qian Ye and others appeared in Karakura town. In order to avoid causing unnecessary trouble, he ordered several guys in the store to stay in the store tonight and not to go out and hang around. That Reiatsu is silver, right? Then I don't need to act. Inside a hospital called Kurosaki. A teenager raised his head and looked out the window. He felt something strange far away, but he couldn't tell what it was. When he was about to sneak out to have a look, a hand was placed on his shoulder. The boy turned his head, and a face with scum on his face almost touched his face. A thorny patient just came, come and help. Before the boy refused, he was dragged away. Ichimaru Jin asked, are everyone here? Fujiwara Furu raised his hand and said, report that Captain Ichimaru Jin, third-year student Naomihime has disappeared. Ichimaru Jin's face changed slightly. Which area is she responsible for? Someone pointed to Manos Grande who was about to show up completely and said, that's it. Ichimaru Jin's face changed drastically. Oops, she may have something wrong. You stay here on standby, Qian Ye, let me take a look. The figures of Ichimaru Jin and Qian Ye quickly disappeared from the vision of Fujiwara and others. Fujiwara Gu and others have no objection to Ichimaru Jin who only called Qian Ye to accompany him. They knew that they weren't Manos Grande's opponents, and keeping up with them was a drag. Qian Ye is different, the strength is obvious to all. Go to the road where Manos Grande is located. This Manos Grande was summoned by me. The name is Jillian. It was formed by defeating and fusing hundreds of low-level imaginaries. Qian Ye, don't I need to tell you what to do next? Qian Ye said, thank you, Captain Ichimaru Jin, I will cooperate with you. When Ichimaru Jin saw that Qian Ye got him, he stopped talking. The two came to Manos Grande's ripped black cavity. At this time, Manos Grande will almost fully appear in this world. Trigger mission. Destroy Manos Grande in front of you. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 39. Slash in the air, 4/10. Chapter 39. Volley slash 4/10. Ichimaru Jin said, you can't let Manos Grande come out. The current residents around here can't bear its Reiatsu. Qian Ye saw that Ichimaru Jin didn't mean to do it, and asked, am I doing it alone? Ichimaru Jin nodded, come on. He knows that Qian Ye is very strong, but he hasn't seen Qian Ye fight yet. He just took this opportunity to see if Qian Ye can play his own corresponding strength. Then I will do it. Qian Ye finished speaking, one shunpo vacated, and another shunpo came to Manos Grande. Manos Grande's body is very big, it looks like he is stepping on the town, and the surrounding buildings are under his feet. In the distance, Fujiwara and others kept staring at Manos Grande. When they saw Qian Ye appearing on Manos Grande, they were very excited. Qian Ye has done with Manos Grande. Hey, Captain Ichimaru Jin doesn't seem to take a shot. Is this going to let Qian Ye single out Manos Grande? We all know that Qian Ye is strong, but can he really single out Manos Grande? After Qian Ye came to Manos Grande, he pulled out the sealed state around his waist. Qian Ye does not have shikai, holding the sealed state, using cutting skills and swordsmanship to slash at Manos Grande's huge body. At the beginning, Qian Ye only used 30% of his power to test it out. Qian Ye looked at Manos Grande, who only left a trace on his body, and had a general judgment in his heart about the strength of Manos Grande in front of him. The defense is roughly equivalent to the rank of the deputy captain of the 13th Division. As for the offensive power, it is not yet known. I think it will not exceed the general captain level. Qian Ye glanced at the place where Fujiwara and others were far away without a trace, and then started to drink. Give back my old aunt's life. Ah! Qian Ye yelled, while launching a fierce attack on Manos Grande, slashing hard. The zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hands left deep or shallow traces on Manos Grande. Well, the battle is quite fierce. Qian Ye yelled loudly on purpose, naturally it was heard by Fujiwara and others. What? Nayuki was killed by Manos Grande. Isn't now Mihime very strong? Can't she beat the teacher to tears? No matter how strong she is only a student, but the opponent is Manos Grande. If Qian Ye is fully capable, he can kill Manos Grande in front of him in seconds. Qian Ye didn't do this, naturally for acting. And Manos Grande is also acting under the restrictions of Ichimaru Jin. It has also been passively beaten, not dare to release Reiatsu, nor use Sero, and can only wave its big hand against Qian Ye. Ichimaru Jin's purpose in doing this is naturally not to cause casualties to the living residents, and to cause greater trouble than the disappearance of the third grader now Mihime for no reason. Qian Ye fought fiercely with Manos Grande for a while. Fujiwara Jiyu and others suddenly felt a powerful Reiatsu burst out of Qian Ye. Look at it, the sealed state in Qian Ye's hands has changed. Someone shouted with excitement. That's the real name liberation. Unexpectedly, Qian Ye, stimulated by the loss of his relatives, would actually complete shikai in battle, which he hadn't done for 6 years. After Qian Ye used shikai, his strength increased greatly. Qian Ye raised zanpakuto aloft, and then volleyed down towards Manos Grande. Brush. I saw that when zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hand was swung down by Qian Ye, it was instantly long. The length of the blade spans the entire Manos Grande, and the ultra-long blade is cut from the head of Manos Grande vertically, and cut to the end. Swift. Qian Ye slowly retracted zanpakuto into the scabbard. When the scabbard and the scabbard collided, they made a crisp, choking, for a moment. A black line appeared on Manos Grande's body, which stretched from the top of its head to the bottom. The black line keeps zooming in, dividing the Manos Grande into two. The two halves of the university smashed toward both sides, and the buildings that had hit the ground disappeared. You destroyed the Manos Grande in front of you and received the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. The first time you kill the void, you will receive a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. You behead Jillian for the first time and get a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 50. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The first time you use shikai to fight, you will get a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 30. Close black lens bracket. As a series of reminders sounded in my mind, cheers came in the distance. Qian Ye fell from the air to Ichimaru Jin's side. Captain Ichimaru Jin, am I doing okay? Ichimaru Jin's eyes narrowed into a line, and I don't know if he laughed at all. Very nice. Then let's go back, it's time for you to perform, Captain Ichimaru Jin. After Qian Ye finished speaking, he took the lead in performing Shunpo and rushed to Fujiwara and others. Ichimaru Jin, who followed, looked at Qian Ye's back. Qian Ye, did I overestimate you or underestimate you? Before Qian Ye beheaded Manos Grande, Ichimaru Jin was extremely disappointed. Qian Ye couldn't bring out his strength at all. At that time, he thought he had overestimated Qian Ye before. But Qian Ye's slash that seemed shocked at the last moment, but was actually an understatement, but looked at Ichimaru Jin in a daze. At that time, he thought he underestimated Qian Ye. Qian Ye, thank you Wu Zeta for your reward and support. Qian Ye, thank you Wenhua University for your monthly ticket support. Qian Ye, thank you Lasvel for your monthly ticket support. Qian Ye, suddenly saw the flowers grow so much. Thanks a lot to every reader who sent flowers and comments. Qian Ye, thank you for your support to Qian Ye. Love you. Asterisk. Chapter 40. Well done 5/10. Advertise here. Chapter 40. Well performed 5/10. Fujiwara and others are on standby. Ichimaru Jin said with a sad look. It's a pity that when Naomiko faced Manos Grande, she didn't choose to run away but chose to fight with him alone. Qian Ye and I went one step later. Naomiko was killed and eaten by Manos Grande. NS. Now Mihime is really dead. Fujiwara and others looked at Ichimaru Jin with a sad face, and Qian Ye with Ichimaru Jin's head drooping. Recalling Qian Ye's previous performance in the face of Manos Grande, they believed that now Mihime should have been killed by Manos Grande. If Manos Grande appears again, you must not fight with them, Try your best to save your lives, and wait for Qian Ye and I to solve it. Facing Manos Grande, they could only try to save their lives, but Qian Ye was able to kill him. This was the gap between them and Qian Ye. The soul burial internship continues. You have less than 3 hours left. With a heavy heart, all the students continued their soul burial practice. A reminder sounded in Qian Ye's mind. You successfully act with Ichimaru Jin, and you will receive an event reward, Spiritual Power plus 30. Close black lens bracket. Since the acting is successful, it shows that these people really believe that now Mihime was killed by Manos Grande. In this way, now Mihime's matter was settled. The soul burial mission was completed, and now Mihime's matter was also resolved. Qian Ye casually found a roof to sit on, and entered the sword meditation. Although it is not necessary, Qian Ye intends to explain the situation to now Mihime himself. Ichimaru Jin wandered around the area where the students were responsible. What if it wasn't for the imaginary appearance he had summoned? After that, until the end of the internship of the soul burial, no accidents happened again. Qian Ye and others returned to Soul Society through the gate. Ichimaru Jin handed Qian Ye and others to the teacher in charge of the academy, and briefly explained what happened to Nao Mihime during the soul burial internship, and then left. When he led the soul funeral internship, a student had an accident, and he needed to go to the captain to explain the situation in person. The teacher said, although now Mimiheim's affairs are very regrettable, since you have chosen to become Shinigami, you can't stand still because of the departure of your companions. In order not to see your companions falling down in front of you, you have to work harder to improve your strength. Quote. After listening to the teacher's words, the anger is finally not so heavy. The teacher put on a special glove on his right hand and said, now the soul burial performance test is carried out, and the student whose name was pronounced came forward with a sealed state. Fujiwara Ko. Fujiwara Gujo passed the sealed state to the teacher. The teacher wiped his gloved right hand on the hilt of the Fujiwara Ko shallow knife and read, Fujiwara Ko, this soul burial internship is qualified, and the number of soul burials is 15 times. The teacher returned the sealed state to Fujiwara with a smile. Your soul burial score is very good, and your other scores are also good. As long as you don't make a mistake in the final assessment later, there should be no problem entering the 13th stage. Come on. After getting the teacher's compliment, Fujiwara also walked out of the grief of losing his companion, and said excitedly, thank you teacher, I will work hard. Next, Fujita. Fujita was the fat man who met Qian Ye to his sister before. Fujita, this soul burial internship is qualified, and the number of soul burials is 7 times. The qualification requirement for soul burial internship is to complete 5 soul burials. However, in order to obtain a better soul burial practice, the students who go there will generally try to complete as many soul burials as possible within the specified time. So far, Fujita, the worst performer, has also carried out 7 soul burials. This embarrassed Qian Ye, who had only performed 5 soul burials. Next, Qian Ye. Qian Ye stepped forward and handed Qian Ye to the teacher. Qian Ye, although this is your first soul burial internship, your soul burial results shouldn't disappoint the teacher, right? Qian Ye said awkwardly, it should be. The teacher said, you don't need to be humble. Your grades in each course are the best I have seen in my life. Moreover, I heard from Captain Ichimaru Jin that under the pressure of Manos Grande, you not only liberated Zanpakuto's real name, but you also singled out Manos Grande. Beheaded. The teacher paused and continued, even Manos Grande can kill you, the soul burial is naturally. The teacher who has checked the number of times Qian Ye's soul burial is very embarrassing. Qian Ye, this soul burial internship is qualified, and the number of soul burials is 5 times. Qian Ye, your results in soul burial. Didn't you perform very well when you took courses related to soul burial? Qian Ye didn't know how to explain. Fujiwara Gu stood up. Teacher, now Mihime who was involved in this accident is Qian Ye's aunt. Qian Ye finally liberated Zanpakuto's real name in the grief of losing a loved one. Yes, Qian Ye has been sitting alone and crying sadly since he finished Shikai's beheading of Manos Grande. He didn't continue the soul burial. The 5 soul burials were his achievements before beheading Manos Grande. Qian Ye was speechless. No one of him was sitting and crying sadly, he was in the sword meditation, okay. I remember Manos Grande appeared less than an hour after we arrived in this world. In other words, Qian Ye completed 5 soul burials in less than an hour. After listening to the explanations given by these students for Qian Ye, the teacher said. I'm sorry, Qian Ye, I don't know that you are relatives with Mihime now who was involved in the accident. Your sorrow. As for your soul burial internship, I will give you the special explanation above. Don't worry, it will not affect your final assessment. Qian Ye said, thank you teacher. Qian Ye didn't even care about the final assessment 3 days later, would he care about the soul burial results? The sudden appearance of Manos Grande during the soul burial internship and the killing of Nao Mihime by Manos Grande caused quite a stir at the Mao Spiritual Academy. However, the turmoil soon subsided, because 3 days later it was the final examination of the Mao Spiritual Academy. Asterisk. Chapter 41. Final Assessment 6/10. Chapter 41. Final Assessment 6/10. In 3 days, in the same class as Qian Ye, all the 6th grade students who are still in the college will receive the final assessment of the college. Lower grades who apply for graduation in advance will also participate in the assessment together. The final assessment this time is different from the past. In the past, only one, at most 2 13th team captains attended the ceremony. And these captains usually let their deputy captain go on their behalf. There are 7 captains here to watch the ceremony, and it is said that all the 7 captains will be there in person. The day before the final assessment. Class 1 classroom for elite class. You are very fortunate to have 7 captains attending the ceremony in the final assessment of your graduation. If you perform well enough, it is not impossible to be selected directly by the captain on the spot. The students were very excited when they heard this. This final assessment has already aroused the attention of the teachers and students of the school, and the scene must be very lively by then. If you can be selected into the team by the captain in front of the teachers and students of the whole school in the assessment field, then it will be a matter of a lifetime. Because of this, the assessment will be very strict this time. You must perform well and unreservedly display the results of your 6 years in the academy. You are students in the first class of my elite class. If anyone is ashamed of me in the assessment field, it depends on how I clean up him afterwards. The teacher said and looked at Qian Ye who was yawning, and said, Qian Ye, especially you, as the best student in our class, you must fight for my face and strive to be directly selected by the team leader in the assessment. If there is a captain who chooses you, no matter which team you are, you will directly agree, remember. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject the teacher. Close black lens bracket. Still have to think about it. Of course, teacher, rest assured, I will show what I have learned in the past 6 years. As for which squad to enter, I want to choose by myself. You rejected the teacher and received an event reward. Spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Trigger task. Participate in the final assessment of the Mao Spiritual Academy. Close black lens bracket. The teacher was a little dissatisfied with Qian Ye's answer, but what's the use? Ask Qian Ye for trouble afterwards. He can't beat it. The next day, the central plaza of the Mao Spiritual Academy. This is the largest square in the college. Every freshman opening ceremony and final assessment are conducted here. A high platform was erected in the center of the square, and the examination room was located on the high platform. The open space in the square surrounding the examination hall was already crowded with students from the college at this time. Next to the high platform, all class teachers participating in the assessment this year are making the final mobilization of the students in their class. In another quarter of an hour, the final assessment of this session will begin. Half a quarter of an hour later, amidst the cheers of the students, a captain landed on a seat specially prepared for the captain on the high platform. This person has a white robe, long hair, and cold light in his light purple eyes. It is Byakuya Kuchiki, the captain of Gotei's 6th division. After Byakuya Kuchiki took his seat, he said nothing, closed his eyes and waited for the assessment to begin. With another burst of cheers, another captain took his seat. This is the only female Shinigami of Soul Society, the captain of the 4th division, Unohana Retsu. Unohana Retsu didn't speak when she was seated, but she kept looking around, as if she wanted to think of someone. Then, Ichimaru Jin, the captain of the 3rd division, and Aizen Sōsuke, the captain of the 5th division, came to the scene chatting and laughing. Continue again. The captain of the 12th division, Kuritsuchi Mayuri, is seated. After half an hour, Zaraki Kenpachi, captain of the 11th division with Kusajishi Yakiru on his back, was finally overdue. After Zaraki Kenpachi took his seat, Aizen Sōsuke helped his glasses. I thought you had to wait until the assessment was over before you arrived. Zaraki Kenpachi and Kusajishi Yakiru are the famous late team of Soul Society. Who makes both of them road idiots? Zaraki Kenpachi ignored Aizen Sōsuke, but asked the person in charge of the final assessment of the Mao Spiritual Academy. Why haven't it started yet? The person in charge feels bitter, waiting for you. Of course, he dared not say this. He said loudly, Captain Jishiro was unable to attend because of a sudden illness. The other 6 captains to attend the ceremony are here. Now I announce that the final assessment has officially started. The voice of the person in charge spread through the entire square of the Mao Spiritual Academy through special means. As usual, he will give a mobilization speech before the start of the assessment. Zaraki Kenpachi's late arrival delayed the event and the speech was forced to be cancelled. Regarding this, the person in charge is very sorry. After learning that 7 captains had come to observe the ceremony, his mobilization speech was carefully prepared for several days. The final assessment is divided into 5 items, namely the 4 skills of slashing fist and walking ghosts and zanpakuto. The 4 skills of Zanquan and Devil are Zanpakuto, White Hits, Shunpo, and Kido. Zanpakuto is displayed, not the kendo display of the previous 4 skills, but shikai. Of course, students who have not completed shikai will skip the demonstration. The students participating in the assessment are divided into groups of 10, and according to the grouping order, they will go to the stage to receive the assessment. With the first group of students on stage, the assessment is officially assessed. After the assessment started, Byakuya Kuchiki still didn't mean to open his eyes. Unohana Retsu is still looking for someone in the crowd. Zaraki Kenpachi was absent-minded, and Kusajishi Yakiru fell asleep on his back. Kuretsuchi Mayuri leaned on the chair with his hands, and because he was wearing a mask, I don't know if he also fell asleep. Only Ichimaru Jin and Aizen Sōsuke are behaving normally. The two of them stared at the students displayed on the high platform all the time, and discussed with each other about the outstanding performance of a certain student from time to time. Time slowly passed, and the assessment process was halfway through. At this time, no student was directly selected by the 7 captains watching the ceremony. Another half hour passed. After the previous group of students stepped down, the person in charge read. The next group, Qian Ye and Fujiwara in the first class of the elite class, Iger and Rumiko in the second class of the elite class, and Endo in the first class of the ordinary class. Asterisk. Chapter 42. Unohana Retsu's own kendo genre, 7/10. Chapter 42. Unohana Retsu's own kendo genre, 7/10. At this time, Byakuya Kuchiki, who had been keeping his eyes closed, finally opened his eyes. Kuretsuchi Mayuri, who was sleeping on his hands, raised his head. The absent-minded Zaraki Kenpachi and Kusajishi Yakiru also came to mind. Unohana Retsu no longer looked around constantly, but concentrated on the steps leading to the high platform. Aizen Sōsuke glanced at Ichimaru Jin with a peripheral glance while holding his glasses. His eyes narrowed into a line. They are all waiting for one person, and they are waiting for the same person. At this time, Qian Ye was walking on the steps of the high platform with the same group of people. Fujiwara Ji-yu, who was walking beside Qian Ye, was complaining. Why am I so unlucky to be in the same group with you? No matter how good I behave in a while, I won't be able to steal your limelight. Hey, my hope of being directly selected is definitely gone, ooh. Fujiwara Furumoto was a student in the first class of the elite class, and was the first to complete the liberation of Zanpakuto's real name in Qian Ye's dormitory. Coupled with his good results in all other areas, he is indeed hopeful that the captain will directly look after him. Actually, before Qian Ye took the stage, several students were better than Fujiwara Ji-yu. As a result, apart from Aizen nodded symbolically to them, none of the captains spoke, let alone selected directly for the squad. Qian Ye ignored Fujiwara Ji-yu, who complained to him. Because the 6-year mission is finally completed. You haven't caught Aizen Sōsuke's attention in 6 years, and you have received an event reward, Template Promotion Card X10. Super Template Upgrade Card X2. Spiritual Power Plus 2000. Super Special Effect Healing Pill X100. Special Healing Pill X1. Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket Super Special Healing Pill. After taking it, it can heal any injuries of the spiritual body, and it will take effect within 15 minutes. Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket Special Healing Pill Prescription. According to the above method, special healing pill can be made. Close Black Lens Bracket. The first time you complete a long time limit mission, you will receive a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power Plus 100. Close Black Lens Bracket. It is worthy of a task that takes 6 years to complete. This reward is indeed rich. The only flaw is that the reward pill is not a super special healing pill. The difference between the word super, the effect must be very different. The moment Qian Ye emerged from the steps, Ichimaru Jin said to Aizen Sōsuke, who was sitting next to him. He is Qian Ye, whom I have mentioned many times to you. The performance of Zongquan Zugi is very good, and his mind is very firm. The only shortcoming is that shikai was only completed a few days ago. Aizen Sōsuke nodded, then looked at Qian Ye carefully. The reason why he is here today is to see how Qian Ye, who has been mentioned by Ichimaru Jin many times, exists. Aizen Sōsuke knew that Ichimaru Jin said to him that he was monitoring Qian Ye to see if Qian Ye might influence his plan. In fact, Ichimaru Jin gave Qian Ye all kinds of care behind his back. Qian Ye, Ichimaru Jin, who has been lurking by my side for so many years, will take care of you even if he exposes himself. Don't let him down with your performance today. After listening to Ichimaru Jin's words, Unohana Retsu at the side knew who Qian Ye was. Suddenly a pair of beautiful eyes swept up and down at Qian Ye, secretly saying. It turns out that Qian Ye has changed from a kid who was less than 1 meter tall to a little man of 1.8 meters. No wonder I didn't find you after looking for a long time. For Unohana Retsu, who has been alive for thousands of years, 6 years is indeed not worthy of attention to her. So much so that she just ignored this and kept looking for the little boy she remembered 6 years ago. Byakuya Kuchiki also looked at Qian Ye, although he had known Qian Ye's existence for a long time, and asked Rukia Kuchiki to help him win Qian Ye. It was the first time that he actually met Qian Ye. Jian, Xiao Qian Ye has become so tall. Cut, it's not the first kid. If you hadn't mentioned it to me this morning, I would have forgotten him. After Qian Ye left the 11th division, Zaraki Kenpachi thought that Qian Ye could finish shikai immediately, but Jian, Xiao Qian Ye is now shikai, when will you help him bring him back to complete the previous appointment with the bald boy? The bald boy has been waiting for this date. I'll take him away when he finishes the exam. Great. From today onwards, Xiao Qian Ye will be a member of our 11th squad. Byakuya Kuchiki didn't comment on this, and he wouldn't let Zaraki Kenpachi take Qian Ye away easily. The first item in the assessment, the kendo display, will begin now. Trigger event. Show all kendo in the kendo exhibition. Close black lens bracket. Then, after Qian Ye's group of students finished showing the genre of kendo they mastered, Qian Ye continued. Qian Ye showed almost all the existing genres of Soul Society. Every kendo genre shown by Qian Ye has very deep attainments, not losing to the kendo master of that kendo genre. Unohana Retsu had already stood up with excitement, she said in her heart. There is another genre. Qian Ye has displayed all the existing kendo genres in Soul Society. Does Qian Ye know that genre? Impossible. Because the remaining genre is my own creation, I haven't shown it before anyone. Qian Ye continued after showing the current genre. Unohana Retsu's beautiful eyes condensed, and what Qian Ye is showing now is the kendo genre she created and has not shown before. This is impossible. Because of being too surprised, Unohana Retsu exclaimed. Byakuya Kuchiki on the side asked, Captain Unohana, what's impossible? Ujihua asked, have you seen the kendo school Qian Ye is showing now? Qian Ye, it's a little bit stuck in the plot. Today's 10 is more likely to be unfinished. Readers can rest assured that Qian Ye will fill in the chapters that he owes without sleeping. Asterisk. Chapter 43. Show Shikai 8/10. Advertise here. Chapter 43. Show Shikai 8/10. Byakuya Kuchiki shook his head. The kendo that Qian Ye is showing now seems familiar, but I can be sure that I have never seen it before. Unohana Retsu. Of course you haven't seen it, because that's my own kendo genre. Oh, no wonder I feel familiar. Unohana Retsu did not tell Byakuya Kuchiki that after she created this genre, she has never shown it in front of others. Zaraki Kenpachi said, what the hell is this kid Qian Ye doing there? Hurry up and move on to the next item. He didn't finish his words either. He was still waiting for Qian Ye to take Qian Ye away after finishing the assessment. Unohana Retsu sat down and ignored Zaraki Kenpachi. Zaraki Kenpachi does not understand any genre of Kenpachi, he relies on his combat instinct to wield his sword, but this does not affect him to become a contemporary Kenpachi. If you can't hit your opponent, any kendo genre is useless. Qian Ye finally stopped after showing the kendo genre created by Unohana Retsu. You showed all the genres of kendo when you showed off in the kendo, and you will get the event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. When you showed off in kendo, you shocked Unohana Retsu and received a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 100. Close black lens bracket. The person in charge said. Next is a group of 2 for the white hits display. After hearing the words of the ancient Fujiwara, he kept away from Qian Ye. He would never go with Qian Ye. However, he was a step slower after all. Trigger event. Use white hits to defeat Fujiwara Ko. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye looked at the old Fujiwara who was alone and said, come on, show me your white hits. Fujiwara had no choice but to bite the bullet and attack Qian Ye. Qian Ye only defended and dodged but did not attack. If Fujiwara Gu's white hits are calculated according to Qian Ye's template level, they should be above the C level and below the B level. A few minutes later, Fujiwara Gu played all his best, but did not even touch the corner of Qian Ye's clothes. Stop fighting, I surrendered. You defeated Fujiwara Gu with white hits, and you get the event reward, spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. You let Fujiwara Gu admit defeat and get a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. Zaraki Kenpachi said. It's really boring, this kind of fight is basically just a kid's play. Kuretsuchi Mayuri said. That is Qian Ye's opponent is too weak. If you replace Qian Ye's opponent with you, Captain Zaraki, it must be interesting. Zaraki Kenpachi smiled and stood up. It makes sense, let me be Qian Ye's opponent and let him show his strength. Unohana Retsu smiled and said, Zaraki, if you really do this, the captain will invite you to him for tea tomorrow. Zaraki Kenpachi sat back after hearing this. Next to the Shunpo show. The Shunpo that Qian Ye showed was an average captain, which made the students in his group ashamed. The 6 captains on the stage just nodded and didn't seem surprised. Of course, Qian Ye did not show his full strength. Next is the Kido show. Qian Ye only showed one Kido, but ignited the atmosphere of the whole scene. Because the Kido shown by Qian Ye is the 91st of Hado Thousand Hands Jiao Tian Tai Pao. The students were shocked that Qian Ye could use the Kido sequenced after number 90. The 6 captains were shocked by the power of Kido shown by Qian Ye. Aizen Sōsuke's pupils shrank, and he, who had never paid attention to Qian Ye, finally became vigilant towards Qian Ye. Finally, zanpakuto showed that the students who completed shikai stayed, and the students who did not complete can now withdraw. Of the 10 people in Qian Ye's group, 5 people stayed. 5 people showed shikai in turn. I don't know if the person in charge deliberately ranked Qian Ye last. Next, Qian Ye, the first class of the elite class, stepped forward to show shikai. Trigger event. Show shikai. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye held the sealed state and stood facing the 6 captains. The person in charge said, Qian Ye, let's start. Qian Ye nodded. Qian Ye pulled the sealed state out of the scabbard, and then held it horizontally in front of him. Let's dance. Now Mimahime. Under the gaze of the 6 captains, the sealed state in Qian Ye's hands became a long sword with patterns and inscriptions engraved on the blades, and the blades were transparent. Qian Ye said, "Hello, several captains, this is my shikai from Zanpakuto. Is this over?" The person in charge is a little confused. Qian Ye's previous performances were very eye-catching, and he felt that Qian Ye's shikai would also shock the audience. This is the result. Qian Ye, you can show your Zanpakuto's abilities. Qian Ye said, "Behind my Zanpakuto shikai, the blade can be transformed into various weapon shapes at will." Qian Ye spoke and demonstrated. The person in charge looked at the constantly changing shape of Zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hand and was not very satisfied. Qian Ye's Zanpakuto's display did not meet his expectations at all. The person in charge asked unwillingly, "Is it gone?" "Oh, yes, after shikai, I can still gather spirit wings to fly." As Qian Ye spoke, a pair of transparent spirit wings appeared behind him. Qian Ye flew a circle around the high platform and landed, immediately cancelled the shikai state, and took Zanpakuto back into the scabbard. "I'm done showing it. You showed shikai, and you get the event reward. Spiritual power plus 10. Close black lens bracket." The person in charge said disappointedly, "Then you can withdraw." He is really disappointed. If Qian Ye's shikai is stronger, according to Qian Ye's previous performance, he will definitely become the first student to be directly favored by the captain. It's a pity, in the eyes of the person in charge, Qian Ye's shikai is too common. Is it finally over? Qian Ye, come back to the 11th squad with me. The person in charge looked at Zaraki Kenpachi who stood up, his eyes lit up, there is a turnaround. Qian Ye, there are 2 chapters left. The author stays up late and will update it tomorrow morning. Asterisk. Chapter 44. Qian Ye, follow me, 9/10. Chapter 44. Qian Ye, follow me, 9/10. After listening to Zaraki Kenpachi's words, Qian Ye did not answer yet, but the person in charge asked excitedly. "Captain Zaraki, you are fancy Qian Ye, do you mean to choose him directly into the 11th division?" OMG. Among the students who participated in the assessment this year, the captain finally got a direct fancy. The crowd in the audience is also boiling, they have been waiting for such a moment. Zaraki Kenpachi moved his neck and said, "Can I just take him away now?" The person in charge is overjoyed, Qian Ye was really spotted by the captain of the 11th division. Of course not. And many more. The person in charge was interrupted. Byakuya Kuchiki stood up. "Qian Ye, come to my 6th division team." The person in charge looked at Byakuya Kuchiki excitedly and said, "Captain Kuchiki, do you like Qian Ye too?" Byakuya Kuchiki ignored the person in charge, but said to Qian Ye standing on the high platform. "Qian Ye, if you come to the 6th division team, as long as you defeat the 3rd seat in my team in the winning battle, I can directly promote you to the deputy captain." Hiss. The person in charge took a breath. Byakuya Kuchiki not only took a fancy to Qian Ye, but also wanted Qian Ye to be the deputy captain of the 6th division. This is no longer the level of recognition. All the students in the audience stopped the noise and quietly watched Qian Ye's choice when facing the invitation of the 2 teams. Without waiting for the person in charge to digest the current shock, Kuretsuchi Mayuri stood up. "Brother Qian Ye, why don't you come to my 12th squad? I think the Technology Development Bureau is best for you." Hiss. Even if Kuretsuchi Mayuri invites Qian Ye, he still calls Qian Ye the younger brother of Qian Ye. What is the situation? Not over yet. Ichimaru Jin stood up and said, "Qian Ye, what I said to you before is still valid. The door of my 3rd division is open for you at any time." Ichimaru Jin, the captain of the 3rd division, invited Qian Ye before. Aizen Sōsuke did not stand up, but he also expressed his opinion. "Qian Ye, I am very optimistic about you, especially your Kido. My deputy captain Hinamori Momo has very deep knowledge on Kido. After you join the 5th division, I think the 2 of you must have a lot of common topics to communicate." Zaraki Kenpachi and others invited themselves, Qian Ye thought of it. He didn't expect Aizen to invite him too. Is Aizen finally watching him? Faced with 5 captains throwing olive branches to Qian Ye at the same time, the person in charge has no idea what to say. Unohana Retsu finally stood up. "Qian Ye, you haven't forgotten your promise to me 6 years ago." The person in charge does not know what the agreement between Unohana Retsu and Qian Ye was 6 years ago, but he could see that Unohana Retsu also sent an invitation to Qian Ye, but did not directly explain it. Qian Ye didn't make any answer, because the prompt sound in his mind exploded. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Zaraki Kenpachi. Close black lens bracket. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Byakuya Kuchiki. Close black lens bracket. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Ichimaru Jin. Close black lens bracket. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Kuretsuchi Mayuri. Close black lens bracket. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Aizen Sōsuke. Close black lens bracket. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Unohana Retsu. Close black lens bracket. Under the high platform, a group of students exploded. Qian Ye was directly spotted by the captain on the assessment field, and was spotted by 6 captains at the same time. Unlike the students who expect to be directly selected by the captain, Qian Ye can choose one of the 6 captains to join him. Wow, Qian Ye is so amazing, he was actually spotted by 6 captains at the same time. It's a pity that Captain Jishiro is absent, otherwise Qian Ye might be spotted by 7 captains at the same time. This is the unprecedented history of our Mao Spiritual Academy. Guess which squad Qian Ye will choose to join. I think the 6th squad has the best chance. Captain Kuchiki intends to promote him directly to the deputy captain. I think the 12th division, to be able to be brothers with Captain Nirvana, the relationship between them must not be simple. In the crowd, there were 2 girls in Death Tyrant costumes. They came from the 6th division and came secretly. One of them is Qian Ye's acquaintance, Kuchiki Egret. This is Qian Ye that you often talk about. It really is so good. Of course, if Qian Ye hadn't been able to finish shikai, he would be able to graduate from the Mao Spiritual Academy in advance in less than half a year. You said she will join our 6th division team, is this true? Kuchiki Egret nodded firmly. Of course, this is an agreement between me and him, not to mention that our captain has personally invited him now. Wow, that means Qian Ye will soon become our deputy captain. On the high platform, it's time for Qian Ye to make a choice. Qian Ye first said to Zaraki Kenpachi, Captain Zaraki is sorry, I don't want to go back to the 11th squad with you. You rejected Zaraki Kenpachi, and you get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Zaraki Kenpachi tilted his neck with a fierce look on his face. Why? Do you want to go to the 6th division so much? Zaraki Kenpachi always thought Qian Ye refused to agree to join the 11th division because of Byakuya Kuchiki. When Zaraki Kenpachi learned of Qian Ye's existence, he knew that Byakuya Kuchiki wanted to invite Qian Ye to join the 6th division team. Byakuya Kuchiki looked forward to how Qian Ye would answer Zaraki Kenpachi. He thought Qian Ye would choose the 11th division to join. Unexpectedly, Qian Ye actually rejected Zaraki Kenpachi. Does Qian Ye really want to choose his 6th division team? Qian Ye looked at Byakuya Kuchiki again and said, Thanks to Captain Kuchiki for the many invitations, but I still have to apologize to Captain Kuchiki. Byakuya Kuchiki asked, Is it the reason you gave me before? Qian Ye nodded. You refused Byakuya Kuchiki, and you get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. When Rukia Kuchiki invited Qian Ye on behalf of Byakuya Kuchiki, the reason Qian Ye refused was that there was already an intention team. Byakuya Kuchiki thought that Qian Ye's intended squad was the 11th squad. But Qian Ye just rejected Zaraki Kenpachi, obviously not. Byakuya Kuchiki is very curious about which team Qian Ye has always intended. Zaraki Kenpachi was surprised when he saw that Byakuya Kuchiki was also rejected. It turns out that his competitor is not Byakuya Kuchiki. Thanks to them, they even went to the Kuchiki mansion to demonstrate and let go of the cruel words. Under the high platform, Kuchiki Egret turned pale when he heard Qian Ye reject Byakuya Kuchiki. Why did Qian Ye reject Byakuya Kuchiki's invitation? Didn't Qian Ye tell her that he wants to join the 6th division team in the future? Now the 6th division captain personally invited him, Qian Ye shouldn't refuse it. Chapter 45. Sister Wa, long time no see, 10 out of 10. Advertise here. Chapter 45. Sister Wa, long time no see, 10 out of 10. Qian Ye looked at Kuretsuchi Mayuri. Brother Ni, thank you for your invitation, but I don't think the 12th division is suitable for me. Kuretsuchi Mayuri smiled and said, You are happy, it doesn't matter which team you join, don't forget the agreement between us. Kuretsuchi Mayuri knew that Qian Ye would not join the 12th squad. He just stated his position. Qian Ye replied, This is natural, and our agreement has always been counted. You rejected Kuretsuchi Mayuri, and you get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Everyone was curious as to why Qian Ye and Kuretsuchi Mayuri were elder brothers and wondered what their agreement was. But everyone is even more curious about which team Qian Ye will choose. Qian Ye looked at Ichimaru Jin again and said, Captain Ichimaru Jin, thank you for your continued care, but I don't want to join the 3rd division. You rejected Ichimaru Jin, and you get the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Ichimaru Jin was not surprised at this, after all, Qian Ye had already rejected him once. It's just that he has a bad premonition in his heart now. Qian Ye said when he refused him, Qian Ye will go on his own. There are still 4th and 5th teams left for Qian Ye to choose. The 4th squad is a medical team. Qian Ye should not be selected when Ichimaru Jin wants to come. Then Qian Ye has only one choice for the 5th division. Ichimaru Jin was very helpless about this. He clearly reminded Qian Ye not to choose the 5th division. While Ichimaru Jin was guessing, Qian Ye said to Aizen Sōsuke, Captain Aizen, I don't know you well, so I won't choose your squad. Puff. Many people in the audience couldn't help but spray. Qian Ye's reason for rejecting Aizen is really wayward. Then Qian Ye only has one choice. Everyone was very surprised. Qian Ye actually chose the 4th division as the medical team. Qian Ye looked at Unohana Retsu, who was smiling like a flower at this time. By now, he already knew how Unohana Retsu that Qian Ye chose could be upset. Sister Wa, long time no see. Have not seen you for a long time. Qian Ye. Sister Wa, of course I remember when you took me out of the North 80 district of Rukongai, my promise to you. I joined the 4th division after graduating from the Mao Spiritual Academy. Unohana Retsu nodded. Now, I graduated from the Mao Spiritual Academy. Sister Wa, can I join the 4th division? Unohana Retsu smiled and said, of course. It turns out that Qian Ye made an agreement with Captain Unohana Retsu 6 years ago. After Byakuya Kuchiki and Zaraki Kenpachi learned the truth, they both looked depressed. In the past 6 years, the two have regarded each other as competitors, but they did not know that they had lost before they even started to compete. You promised Unohana Retsu, and you get the event reward. Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. You fulfilled the promise you made 6 years ago and received a hidden event reward. Spiritual Power plus 100. Close black lens bracket. Seeing that Qian Ye has made a choice, the person in charge said loudly. Congratulations to Qian Ye from the first class of the elite class, who was selected by 6 at the same time during the assessment, and then selected the 4th division to join. I hope that the students who come to the stage for the assessment will follow Qian Ye's example. While the person in charge exaggerated the atmosphere, Zaraki Kenpachi and Shunko fell in front of Qian Ye. I don't care which squad you choose to join, now you have to follow me to the 11th squad. Trigger optional event. Agree or reject Zaraki Kenpachi. Close black lens bracket. Unohana Retsu followed Zaraki Kenpachi and Shunko came to Qian Ye's side, smiling at Zaraki Kenpachi. Zaraki, are you sure you want to grab someone from me? Zaraki Kenpachi said. This kid has an agreement with me. After he finishes shikai, he will have a serious fight with Madarame Makaku of my squad. As that's so, Unohana Retsu turned his head and blinked at Qian Ye. Qian Ye got what she meant in her eyes. Don't be afraid, I will support you. Qian Ye. Captain Zaraki, I don't remember such an agreement. Kusajishi Yakiru said. Little Qian Ye, after you left, the bald boy refused to accept you. Ajien agreed with him. After you finish shikai, you will be arrested for a real battle with the bald boy. Qian Ye said silently, that was the agreement between Captain Zaraki and Madarame Makaku, right? Unohana Retsu finally understood what was going on. Zaraki, Qian Ye, if you don't want to take him away. Now, he is mine. Zaraki Kenpachi looked at Qian Ye and said, Qian Ye, I remember you said to Madarame Makaku, after you finish shikai, you will fight again. Qian Ye thought for a while, he did say this to Madarame Makaku. Well, let me go with you. You promised Zaraki Kenpachi, and you get the event reward. Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. The 11th division. Madarame Makaku is gearing up excitedly. He has waited for years to fight, and today is finally coming. When Zaraki Kenpachi and Kusajishi Yakiru left this morning, they promised him that they would bring Qian Ye back to fight him. Why haven't you come back? The captain is not lost again, haven't you found the right place yet? Abarai Renji said. Teacher Yizhao, you are too much. No matter how crazy the captain is, it is impossible to find such a conspicuous Mao Spiritual Academy. Ayasagawa Yumashika said, you don't shame us for the 11th squad for a while. Madarame Makaku said angrily, what do you mean? I heard that Qian Ye killed a Manos Grande alone when he was in the soul burial internship. Cut, just kill a Manos Grande. It's not that the uncle has never killed it before. Ayasagawa Yumashika smiled and said, I heard that Qian Ye was unscathed after beheading Manos Grande. Madarame Makaku recalled the scene where he beheaded Manos Grande, he seemed. Madarame Makaku changed the subject and said, don't worry, I won't be ashamed of the 11th division. This battle, my uncle is determined. After half an hour, Qian Ye followed Zaraki Kenpachi to the 11th division. Asterisk. Chapter 46. The Promise Battle, 1/10. Advertise here. Chapter 46. The Battle of Promises, 1/10. The 11th Division Team House. This is Qian Ye's second time here. People in the 11th Division knew that Zaraki Kenpachi would bring Qian Ye back, so they gathered in the team house and waited early. Oh, the smelly kid grows so tall, I almost didn't recognize it. Madarame Makaku brought his bald head closer, and Qian Ye slapped him aside. Your bald head is brighter. Smelly boy, you are still so arrogant. Zaraki Kenpachi said. Qian Ye, you have completed shikai. Now you too can use your full strength and fight once. Madarame Makaku pulled out zanpakuto and set up a battle pose. Qian Ye said, sorry, I'm afraid I can't fight with all my strength. Smelly boy, you are still as ignorant as ever. You know that when I fought with you back then, I didn't use my full strength at all. Qian Ye answered Madarame Makaku with action. Release Reiatsu to press towards Madarame Makaku. Boom. Madarame Makaku's face changed suddenly. This suddenly appeared on him, the horror that oppressed him from all directions. What happened to Reiatsu? He found that the others around him had no influence, only he was oppressed by Qian Ye's Reiatsu. Can Reiatsu still be controlled like this? Madarame Makaku gritted his teeth and said, Qian Ye, you want to use Reiatsu to break me down. You despise me too much. Not bad, I can still talk. While Qian Ye spoke, he strengthened the Reiatsu oppression of Madarame Makaku. Damn it. Madarame Makaku only felt that the Reiatsu that fell on him had doubled, and his hands holding zanpakuto were trembling, but he couldn't make any other movements. Damn it, move me. Madarame Makaku gritted his teeth and roared in his heart. He has waited for nearly 6 years of fighting, is it coming to an end like this? He hasn't shot yet. Ayasagawa Yumashika said, Madarame Makaku, didn't you say that you wouldn't be ashamed of our 11th division? Move me. Abarai Renji clenched his fists. Teacher Yijao, come on. Move. Damn it. Hurry up. While Qian Ye was taken aback, a shunko disappeared in place. Boom. Where Qian Ye was standing, Madarame Makaku stood there with zanpakuto in his hand, breathing continuously. The zanpakuto in his hand sank deep into the ground. Madarame Makaku, a madman, broke through his limit at that instant and withstood Qian Ye's Reiatsu. Moreover, now Madarame Makaku is constantly getting used to Qian Ye's Reiatsu oppression. After his body gets used to this sense of oppression, although he will still be affected by it, he will not be unable to act because of it. As expected of the 11th squad, Reiatsu cannot be defeated. Qian Ye retracted Reiatsu who was oppressing Madarame Makaku. Since Reiatsu can't be defeated, change his posture. Madarame Makaku, Shikai, stretch it out, Hozukimaru. As Madarame Makaku shouted Jifangyu, the zanpakuto in his hand turned into a spear. After completing Shikai, Madarame Makaku's whole person's Reiatsu and spiritual power have been improved. Madarame Makaku picked the tip of his gun and said, it's your turn. Qian Ye pulled out zanpakuto and held it in front of him. Let's dance. Now Mimahime. The zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hands has become a long sword with patterns and inscriptions engraved on the blade, and the blade is transparent. After Qian Ye completed Shikai, only the style of zanpakuto in his hand changed, and his spiritual power and Reiatsu did not improve. Your zanpakuto looks good, but it doesn't look very strong. Is it strong or not? You'll know if you try it. Right on my mind. Madarame Makaku held a long spear and picked it up towards Qian Ye. Qian Ye stood still at the foot of the ground and waved the long sword forward. Madarame Makaku suddenly gave up the attack and rolled to the side. After he rolled away, he looked at the place before with lingering fear. I saw the long sword in Qian Ye's hand. The sword body became several meters long. At this time, the sword body was cutting on the way he was attacking. Is this the ability of Qian Ye's zanpakuto? Ayasagawa Yumashika and others stared. What's the matter with Qian Ye's zanpakuto? Kusajishi Yakiru said. Yes, the ability of Xiao Qian Ye's zanpakuto shikai is that it can be transformed into different weapon shapes. Kusajishi Yakiru can only reach Qian Ye's waist now, but she still calls Qian Ye Xiao Qian Ye. Qian Ye saw that Madarame Makaku relied on the combat instinct to dodge the attack again, and said, the combat instinct is so useful, right, Madarame Makaku? Damn it, don't be too proud, my uncle is not serious yet. Madarame Makaku was about to continue his offensive, but heard the people eating melons around him exclaiming. He turned to look to his left. I saw Qian Ye's sword body turned into a long sword several meters long, and at this time it had become a meteor hammer with an ultra-long chain. Qian Ye held one end of the chain in his hand, and the hammer tied at the other end was hitting him severely. Boom. The iron ball smashed the ground out of a big hole. Madarame Makaku and Shunko avoided the blow, and went behind Qian Ye. It's done. Brush. Qian Ye didn't look back, but his hand holding zanpakuto shook. The original meteor hammer transformed into a diamond belt and quickly wrapped around Qian Ye's back. Madarame Makaku's attack fell on the water chestnut, and failed to cut the water chestnut. Lingdai wrapped around the body of the spear, and Madarame Makaku hurriedly dodged. That's it, this is the ability of your zanpakuto. Before I knew your zanpakuto's abilities, it was really tricky. Now that I know your zanpakuto's abilities, it will be easier. No matter what your zanpakuto looks like, I will cut them all away. Qian Ye, little depressed. Today is the 5th day of publishing the book. It is 80,000 characters. When applying for review, something went wrong. The title of the book is not allowed. If you like the book, but there are no readers who have collected the book yet. Great, remember to add it to your favorites in time, otherwise you won't find this book after it's renamed. Asterisk. Chapter 47. Jishiro Yukitake, 2/10. Chapter 47. Jishiro Yukitake, 2/10. Madarame Makaku attacked Qian Ye with his back facing him again with an imposing momentum. At the moment of Madarame Makaku's attack, the zanpakuto in Qian Ye's hand changed back to the transparent posture of the shikai sword. Qian Ye turned his back to Madarame Makaku and swung his knife from the bottom up with his backhand. Qian Ye clearly wields the knife with his back facing away, but the transparent blade is hitting the tip of the spear in Madarame Makaku's hand. Madarame Makaku instantly felt the terrifying cutting power coming from the tip of the gun. Then, in Madarame Makaku's incredible eyes, the spear in his hand was chopped in two from the tip of the gun. If he doesn't let go, he will be cut in half by Qian Ye along with the spear in his hand. When Madarame Makaku wondered whether to let go, the transparent blade was cut in half and stopped. Qian Ye retracted the knife and turned to look at Madarame Makaku. Bankai. You of Shikai are not at the same level as me. People in the 11th division, except for Abarai Renji and other people who knew that Madarame Makaku had learned Bankai, they were all surprised when they heard what Qian Ye said. Madarame Makaku learned Bankai. Qian Ye should know that Madarame Makaku does not know Bankai yet, so he deliberately said this to stimulate him. Abarai Renji's fists were pinched tighter and tighter. Teacher Yijao, do you want to use Bankai? Zaraki Kenpachi also looked expectantly at Madarame Makaku. After using Bankai's Madarame Makaku, can Qian Ye show his true strength a little bit? Others don't know, Zaraki Kenpachi's instinct tells him. The current Qian Ye did not show any real strength to fight at all. It's not Qian Ye's cup, but Qian Ye's opponent Madarame Makaku is too weak. Zaraki Kenpachi felt the same way, fighting against the weak, without feeling the slightest joy. So although Zaraki Kenpachi is warlike, he has always been disdainful of the weak. Qian Ye, maybe an opponent who can let him experience a pleasant battle. Madarame Makaku looked at the half-cut spear in his hand, when he faced Qian Ye's backhand just now. He didn't want to admit it, but he did feel the pressure that he couldn't resist. Qian Ye is right, Shikai's him is not Qian Ye's opponent at all. Qian Ye, you are very strong, but if you want to meet my uncle's Bankai, wait until you learn Bankai by yourself. Qian Ye smiled and said, so don't you fight now. Madarame Makaku lifted Zanpakuto's Shikai state and retracted the sword into its scabbard. Madarame Makaku turned his back to Qian Ye and said, yes, I will wait for you Bankai before I fight you. Qian Ye was speechless. It was Madarame Makaku who was stunned. Why does he look so cool? You defeated Madarame Makaku and received a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 100. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye put away Zanpakuto and said to Zaraki Kenpachi, Captain Zaraki, can I go now? Zaraki Kenpachi suppressed the urge to draw his sword at Qian Ye. If he draws his sword against Qian Ye now, he can't guarantee that Unohana Retsu will not chase him and chop. Forget it, wait for another chance to fight Qian Ye next time. Zaraki Kenpachi said, Qian Ye, since you have chosen the 4th division, then perform well in the 4th division. Your captain is very strong. Madarame Makaku and others were taken aback. Zaraki Kenpachi brought Qian Ye back. They thought Qian Ye had joined the 11th squad. As a result, what Qian Ye chose to join was the 4th division of the medical team. Qian Ye said, of course I know that Sister Wa is very strong. I also know that you are. Qian Ye swallowed the second half of the sentence back. Now, it is not the time for a complete showdown with Zaraki Kenpachi. You are welcome to come to the 11th division to make an appointment at any time. Qian Ye, Kusajishi Yakiru jumped from Zaraki Kenpachi's back, came to Qian Ye and took Qian Ye's hand, and walked outside. Little Qian Ye, I will take you to meet someone. Qian Ye let Kusajishi Yakiru pull. Who? Well, it's the captain of the 13th division who is absent today. He has long wanted to see you. Today, because of physical discomfort, he couldn't participate in your final assessment. I think he must be very sorry, so I will take you to see him. Trigger event. Go to Jishiro Yukitake with Kusajishi Yakiru. Close black lens bracket. Seraiti, outskirts. The 13th division team house. Shaochun Sentaro said, Yakaizenryu, are you here to play again? Yeah, who is this? My brother. Oh, Shaochun Sentaro looked at Kusajishi Yakiru, who was only up to Qian Ye's waist. Are you sure it's not your brother, but your younger brother? Yugantang. As soon as Qian Ye got outside the bamboo curtain, he heard a violent cough from inside. It seems that Jishiro Yukitake is indeed very unwell today. We'll come again next time, don't disturb Captain Jishiro's rest today. It's okay, Jishiro will get better if he sees you. Qian Ye sometimes really can't guess the logic of Kusajishi Yakiru. At this time, a gentle voice came from the house. Did Yachinliu bring your friend over? Come in. Qian Ye and Kusajishi Yakiru walked in together. The furnishings in the house are very elegant. If this is not the Shinigami world, Qian Ye even thinks that the owner of this room is an ancient scholar. Jishiro Yukitake lay on his side on the mat, his face very bad. You and Kusajishi Yakiru met Jishiro Yukitake, and you got the event reward, Spiritual Power plus 10. Close black lens bracket. Meet Captain Jishiro. Well, you are Qian Ye. Yachinliu often mentions you to me, cough cough. After Jishiro Yukitake coughed, he continued, I wanted to go to your final assessment, but it's a pity that my body doesn't live up to it. Qian Ye knows what's going on with Jishiro Yukitake's body, but there is nothing he can do. Maybe there is a way in the future. Thank you, Captain Jishiro, for your love. It should be me who came to visit earlier. Cough cough cough. You just need to come more in the future. By the way, have you joined the 11th division now? Asterisk. Chapter 48. Super Special Effect Healing Pill 3/10. Chapter 48. Super Special Effect Healing Pill 3/10. Kusajishi Yakiru said. Little Qian Ye refused a Jian's invitation and joined the 4th division. Oh, is the 4th division? Captain Ujiha is very strong. Qian Ye, you have chosen to join the 4th division, you must have your own plans. Qian Ye was about to answer, Kusajishi Yakiru preemptively said. That's not the case. Xiao Qian Ye joined the 4th division because he had an agreement with Captain Ujiha 6 years ago. Agreement 6 years ago. Jishiro Yukitake looked at Qian Ye suspiciously. Did Qian Ye and Unohana Retsu know each other 6 years ago? Qian Ye said. 6 years ago, when I was still in the North 80 district of Rukongai, Sister Hwa found me in the Zaraki district and invited me to join the 4th division. At that time, I decided to study at the Mao Spiritual Academy first because of my poor spiritual control. Therefore, I promised Sister Hwa that I would join the 4th division after I graduated from the Mao Spiritual Academy. Quote. Jiro Yukitake nodded and said, it turns out that this is the case. People who make promises are generally very good. Qian Ye took out a cyan, translucent pill the size of a cherry. Captain Jiro, I have a special medicine. I don't know if it will help your condition. Qian Ye knew that the super special healing pill could not cure Jiro Yukitake's illness. Qian Ye just thought about the super special healing pill, which might help Jiro Yukitake alleviate the pain during the onset. Jiro Yukitake took the pill from Qian Ye's hand and threw it into his mouth without hesitation. Then he took a sip of hot tea and took the pills. Seeing that Jiro Yukitake trusted him so much, Qian Ye was a little touched. His act of giving pill was worth it. Jiro Yukitake knew what his body was like. He didn't think a special medicine that he had never seen was useful. The reason why he took Qian Ye's pill was to get Qian Ye's kindness to him. After Jiro Yukitake took the pill, he immediately felt that the pill turned into a special spiritual power in his body and wandered through his body for a week. Then this special spiritual power disappeared in his vacant lungs. Suddenly, Jiro Yukitake found that his cough had stopped, and his uncomfortable feeling was mostly eliminated. This pill is effective, and it works very well. Jiro Yukitake said with excitement, Qian Ye, where did you get this special medicine? Do you still have it? Qian Ye saw the performance of Jiro Yukitake and knew that the super special effect healing pill was useful. Your super special effect healing pill helped Jiro Yukitake alleviate the pain and get a hidden event reward, spiritual power plus 2-0. Close black lens bracket. Qian Ye thought for a while, took out 10 super healing pills and handed them to Jiro Yukitake. Captain Jiro, I have 10 more here. Jiro Yukitake took it, then took out a jade bottle and carefully filled the pills into it. Although he has long been accustomed to the torment of illness, he also knows that he will be tortured by illness throughout his life. It is precisely because of this, how can he not desire to alleviate the pain and torture in his heart? Qian Ye, thank you very much. If you need my help in Seraiti in the future, please come to Yugantang to find me. On the way to the 4th division, Kusajishi Yakiru, who is holding snacks, is in a particularly good mood. Little Qian Ye, I said Jiro will get better if he sees you. Yes, you are right. Outside the 4th division. Kusajishi Yakiru said, this is it. Thank you for sending me here. Kusajishi Yakiru shook the snacks in his hand. No thanks, who made me your sister? Thank you for your snacks, and you will often buy them for me in the future. After Kusajishi Yakiru left, Qian Ye walked into the 4th division. He is here to report. According to regulations, before officially becoming a member of the 13th squad, a team entry assessment must be conducted. Qian Ye doesn't use it. He was selected on the spot by the captain during the final assessment of the academy, and he can skip the team assessment. You are a member of the 4th division. Seeing Qian Ye wearing the uniform of the Mao Spiritual Academy, stopped Qian Ye and asked. Qian Ye said, hello, my name is Qian Ye, I am a newcomer who just joined the 4th division. You are Qian Ye. Sister Hwa explained that if you come, let me directly take you to pick up the Deathmaster outfit, and then go to the deputy captain to pick up the team badge representing our 4th division. How do you call your captain Hwa Jia? After our captain came back from a mission 6 years ago, we asked her to call her sister Hwa. The reason is not clear. Qian Ye was a little surprised. It turned out that Unohana Retsu said that she liked this title 6 years ago. Qian Ye changed the school uniform of the Mao Spiritual Academy and put on the Death Tyrant outfit representing Shinigami's identity. The Death Tyrant is actually Shinigami's work uniform. Shinigami's Death Tyrant outfits are all tailor-made. Qian Ye's Death Tyrant outfits were made urgently by Unohana Retsu when Qian Ye went to the 11th squad. The whole body of the Death Tyrant is made of black fabric, the upper body is similar to a kimono, and the lower part is trousers with extremely wide legs. The entire Gotei 13th fan, with more than 6,300 team members, are all dressed in uniform styles of death fighters. Of course, in order to distinguish levels. In addition to the Death Tyrant outfit, the captain also wears a nagaba with the team number on the back. The deputy captain wears an extra large team badge with the squad number written on it. The general team members of the squad also have a team badge, but it is inconspicuous. Qian Ye was taken to the 4th division deputy captain's room. Inside, a tall woman, Shinigami, who combed a light purple short hair into a few thin braids and hung her ears, was working. Qian Ye recognized the other party at a glance. Kotetsu Aizen, the current deputy captain of the 4th division, the future captain of the 4th division. However, since Qian Ye came here, he joined the 4th division. Kotetsu Aizen may not be the captain of the 4th division in the future. Qian Ye will not let Sister Hwa die. This is the deputy captain of our 4th division, Kotetsu Aizen. The deputy captain of Yongyan, this is Qian Ye who will report today. Hello, Vice Captain Yongyan. Kotetsu Aizen nodded and said, Sister Hua seems to value you very much, but I think you seem to be average. Qian Ye. The book will be renamed next Monday. Asterisk. Chapter 49. This one can be used for many purposes, 4/10. Chapter 49. This one can be of great use, 4/10. The fourth squad member who sent Qian Ye here had never seen his own deputy captain like this. They were afraid of being affected, and hurried away. Qian Ye Weiwei was also stunned when he heard this, although Katetsu Aizen was neutral in appearance and figure. But she is actually not only introverted, but also very timid. Katetsu Aizen saw Qian Ye's face dumbfounded, but after all he broke his skills, he chuckles and laughs. Qian Ye, are you scared by me? Huh, so Deputy Captain Yongyan, are you looking at me badly, or are you kidding me? Qian Ye really didn't understand. Katetsu Aizen blushed slightly and said, that's right, Sister Hua said you are very strong, but as the Deputy Captain of the 4th Division, I need to stand up in front of you, otherwise you will not put me in your eyes, our 4th Division is looking at it. Ha, shouldn't Li Wei speak with strength, when did it become a joke? Qian Ye was wondering, Katetsu Aizen's voice changed. However, I don't think you are very good at it. I don't know what the Deputy Captain Yongyan is referring to. You know that men can't be said to be no good. Katetsu Aizen blushed even more. Qian Ye, do you know? 6 years ago, because of you, our 4th Division's name for the captain became Sister Hua. Sister Hua told me that you will graduate from the Mao Spiritual Academy in a very short time, and then join our 4th Division. I was looking forward to it, thinking you would join our 4th Division in 1 or 2 years. As a result, you made me wait for so long, do you think you are not good at it? It turned out to be because of this. Qian Ye was a little embarrassed. Something went wrong when I liberated Zanpakuto's real name, so I stayed in the academy for a few more years. Actually, I was there when you finally took the exam. Your 4 skills are really good. Your Zanpakuto shikai is so beautiful. No wonder Sister Hua values you so much. Yeah, was Katetsu Aizen there at the time? Qian Ye really didn't pay attention. As the deputy captain, Katetsu Aizen can stand behind Unohana Retsu if he is there. Of the 6 captains at the time, only Zaraki Kenpachi brought his deputy captain. Katetsu Aizen went to the Mao Spiritual Academy with her sister Toru Qingyan. Jashiro Yukitake was absent, and Huche Qingyan, the acting deputy captain of the 13th Division, did not make it to the high stage. So Katetsu Aizen watched with his sister in the audience. Qian Ye, this is the badge of our 4th Division. Qian Ye took the team badge, and saw that it was written on behalf of the team's number 4. Below the 4 characters is a gentian flower. Seeing Qian Ye staring at the badge, Katetsu Aizen explained. The flower of our 4th Division team is gentian, and the flower language is you who likes sad. Qian Ye put away the team badge. You successfully report to the 4th Division and get a hidden event reward, Spiritual Power plus 20. Close black lens bracket. You should be very tired today, I'll take you to the team house to rest first, and then we will have the pre-emptive match tomorrow morning. Did not see Unohana Retsu, which made Qian Ye a little disappointed. He thought that Unohana Retsu would welcome him personally. Captain's room. Captain Yamamoto Motoi Nagisai Shigekuni held a cane with his back to the gate. Unohana Retsu and Shinigami, a petite girl with ring snake braids, stand side by side at the door. Shinigami, who is with Unohana Retsu Station, is the captain of the 2nd Division, Shattered B. Shattered B is reporting the results of the investigation to Yamamoto Motonishasai Shigekuni. 6 years ago, Qian Ye suddenly appeared in the North 80 district of Rukongai, and did not find any current information related to it. Qian Ye caused a spiritual explosion in the Zaraki area on the day he appeared. Within 6 months, thousands of spiritual explosions have occurred in the Zaraki area. At that time, Captain Ujihua was ordered to take Qian Ye back to the Mao Spiritual Academy when he went to investigate. Within less than a month since Qian Ye joined the Mao Spiritual Academy, he had a close relationship with Kuritsuchi Mayuri, the captain of the 12th Division. It was found that the two of them seemed to be developing a new kind of spiritual power. 3 years later, Qian Ye suddenly brought back a woman named Nao Mihime. 3 days ago, Mihime Nao was attacked by Manos Grande and died while participating in a soul burial internship with Qian Ye. It was also 3 days ago, Qian Ye liberated Zanpakuto's real name in battle, and his name was now Mimahime. To sum up, I think Qian Ye has a lot of suspicious things and should be monitored or arrested for trial. Unohana Retsu didn't speak the whole time, she was waiting for the decision of the captain. If the final decision is unfavorable for Qian Ye, she will think of defending Qian Ye. Half a quarter of an hour later, Yamamoto Genryusai Chonkuni turned around and said. Although Qian Ye has a lot of suspicious things, I think it can be very useful. Broken B looked puzzled, and Unohana Retsu smiled again. Broken B said. Captain, I am not questioning your decision, but for the safety of Soul Society, I want an explanation. Yamamoto Uenyanujaiju National Road. Although I have never seen Qian Ye, I believe in Mao Zihua's vision, and Qian Ye did not do anything against my Soul Society. Yamamoto Motonuzai paused and looked at Unohana Retsu and said, although Qian Ye can be of great use, it still needs to be tempered, so I can't do it too hastily. Unohana Retsu nodded. I know what to do. Get out. Asterisk. Chapter 50. The 4th Division wins the match 5/10. Advertise here. Chapter 50. The 4th Division winning battle 5/10. The 5th Division Captain's Room. Yin, you are right. Qian Ye does have the possibility to influence our plan. Ichimaru Jin's expression remained unchanged, but his heart was tight. Do you want to get rid of him in advance? Qian Ye was invited by our 6 captains at the same time during the final assessment, and now it has almost attracted the attention of the entire Guardian 13th. If he is taken rashly now to get rid of him, it will cause unnecessary trouble. Aizen Sōsuke stroked his zanpakuto on the table, and continued. In order to eliminate Qian Ye's hidden danger and ensure our plan is foolproof, let Qian Ye see my shikai. Ichimaru Jin said. You seem to have a plan. Aizen Sōsuke smiled and said, of course, you listen, we. After the two discussed the plan, Ichimaru Jin left to go. Aizen Sōsuke looked at zanpakuto in his hand and said, Silver, you who know the true ability of my zanpakuto shikai, what are you going to do next? Are you going to continue lurking by my side, or will you expose me now? Or tell Qian Ye about my true ability after zanpakuto's liberation, so that he can be prepared. After Ichimaru Jin left Aizen Sōsuke, his heart was very complicated. Qian Ye, how can you show off your talent for slashing the fist and leaving the ghost in front of Aizen in the final assessment? Qian Ye, why can't you keep a low profile? No matter how you perform during the assessment, I can let you join the 3rd Division. What Ichimaru Jin didn't know was, the reason why Qian Ye attracted Aizen's attention was not how good Qian Ye's talents were. Instead, Qian Ye's shikai. The moment Aizen Sōsuke saw Qian Ye's shikai, he had a thought. That is a zanpakuto that can crack his Kyoka Suigetsu. 3 days later, 2 newcomers came to the 4th Division. Only Qian Ye was directly selected by the captain in the final assessment of the Mao Spiritual Academy. However, among the nearly 100 students who graduated this year, it is impossible for Qian Ye to join the 13th Division. Some outstanding students will also be sent to the appropriate squad after passing the entrance examination. This contest was personally hosted by Unohana Retsu. First, let us welcome 3 newcomers to our 4th Division. After the 4th Squadron gave Qian Ye and waited for 3 greeted applause. Unohana Retsu continued. Next, please invite 3 newcomers to introduce yourself and tell the seats you want to challenge. Trigger event. Become a seat officer of the 4th Division. Close black lens bracket. The 2 newcomers decided to work quietly as a team player, and then challenge the seat officer when they have the strength. Both of them gave up the challenge. Qian Ye, how about you? Qian Ye said. I, Qian Ye, want to challenge Yongyan's deputy captain. Katetsu Azane knew that Qian Ye would take her place sooner or later after joining the 4th Division. Katetsu Azane didn't expect Qian Ye to start a battle against her as soon as she joined the 4th Division. Katetsu Azane feels a little uncomfortable. Can you not just bully her like this when you come? The rest of the 4th Division team looked at Qian Ye with dissatisfaction. They felt that Qian Ye was too mad and didn't put their 4th Division team in their eyes. Unohana Retsu said. Qian Ye, according to the rules, you should first challenge the seat officer below the deputy captain to prove your strength, and you will challenge the deputy captain in the next battle. Qian Ye said. Sister Wa, I am a newcomer, don't lie to me. Unohana Retsu said with a guilty conscience. This is indeed the rules of Gotei Shisanban. Qian Ye doesn't know if this is the rules of the 13th Guardian. Qian Ye only knows that there are exceptions to everything. Didn't Kusajishi Yakiru become the deputy captain just after joining the 11th Division? Unohana Retsu didn't let Qian Ye challenge the deputy captain now, maybe there was some intention. Then I will challenge the 7th seat first. In the crowd, Shinigami, a small man who looked extremely shy, opened his eyes wide. Pick. Challenge me. Ah. 4. Why me? Unohana Retsu originally thought Qian Ye would retreat and challenge the 3rd seat, but did not expect Qian Ye to challenge directly from the deputy captain to the 7th seat. So, now the battle for the seat will begin, and the rookie Qian Ye will face the 7th seat Yamada Hanadoro. If Qian Ye succeeds in the challenge, Qian Ye will replace Yamada Hanadoro as the new 7th seat of our 4th Division. The original 7th seat, Yamada Hanadoro, can immediately challenge the seats below the 7th seat. Yamada Hanadoro stood up weakly. Hello, I am the 7th seat Yamada Hanadoro. Qian Ye looked at Yamada Hanadoro, who was trembling slightly, and suddenly a bad taste arose. Don't be nervous, this is the 4th Division. Even if I accidentally beat you to a disability, Sister Wa will treat you immediately. You have to trust Sister Hua's Kaido. What? As soon as Yamada Hanadoro heard that Qian Ye was going to beat him to death for a while, he fell to the ground in fright. Many of the team members covered their faces, which is too embarrassing. Qian Ye came to Yamada Hanadoro and pulled him up with a smile. You have to believe in yourself. You are the 7th in the 4th Division. Among the more than 6,000 players in the 13th Division of Gotei, there are fewer than 100 seats higher than you. I understand, thank you Qian Ye. Yamada Hanadoro poses in a white hit's starting position. I'm ready, let's start. Asterisk.